together.
When the stars come out, Ghana Weekend turns up the lights. From the hottest red carpet moments to the wildest after parties. And for all your celebrations, anniversaries, and unforgettable moments, if it's happening, we're there. First, fast, and fabulously. Your front row pass to Ghana's A-list lifestyle is just a click or a channel away. GhanaWeekend.com and Ghana Weekend TV, where fame meets the fans. Promote your next big event with us, because when you party with the stars, the whole nation of black stars should know. Visit GhanaWeekend.com, watch and subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube. Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle at GhanaWeekend.com, on X at Ghana Weekend, on TikTok Ghana Weekend, and on Facebook at Ghana Weekend. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, all access, all glam, all yours.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. I am Nanatufo Boateng. We'd like to thank you for taking time off your schedules to join us this Thursday morning. We promise to serve you an interesting show, quite educative, informative, and so we'd like for you to indulge us and stay with us throughout the entire period of the show, and of course stay with us through our subsequent programming. Somewhere last week, I came across a story on social media about a woman who had gone into labor. There were some complications, and so she had to go in for the CS. Now, according to the writer of the story, this woman said she had some sobolo. She had sobolo with her, and that per her own beliefs, that sobolo will save her and assist in delivery. And I am wondering if sobolo is now anesthesia, or sobolo is used for delivery of babies or not. The unfortunate thing is that, according to the same writer, a day after the woman left the hospital based on her faith, to take this sobolo, she lost her life. And so at what point do we draw the line between religion and common sense? At what point will we draw the line between religion and common sense? You see, there's so many indoctrinations out there. We have more or less become religious fanatics in this country, and based on the teachings or indoctrinations, all kinds of things are given to us or sold to us. And we believe so much in these things that we fail to seek medical help when we need them. We all saw the Battle of the Beast, the boxing bout that was put together by Sharaf Mahama, and the boxer who came into a ring with a picture of a religious figure, if you like, a pastor, in his shorts. And this guy was whipped like a father whipping his son. So at what point are we going to draw that line between religion and common sense? Because at certain points, I think common sense must be applied. This woman I refer to would not have lost her life if indeed she had allowed the doctors to perform the CS on her. She could have saved her baby and saved her own life. But based on religion and what she believes in, she refused, in the name of going to take some sobolo. Shalom. Let's say thank you to our patrons, exhibitors, participants, and sponsors of the AgriFair 2025. Thank you so much for joining us, being a part of this event, and of course, committing your resources to sponsor this event. The AgriFair was a huge success because of you, and we are grateful to you eternally for participating and for being a part of this groundbreaking event that sought to bridge a gap between farmers and consumers. We thank you so much for also to our patrons for taking time out of your busy schedules to patronize the AgriFair 2025. It was a huge success, our maiden event. It was great, it was amazing. Patrons left satisfied and asking for more, and of course our participants also asking for several of such platforms. I want to say thank you to everyone, the sponsors, the exhibitors, the vendors, and all patrons alike. Thank you to the Ghana Exim Bank. Thank you to Legacy Crop Improvement Center, LCIC. Thank you to Development Bank Ghana, DBG. Thank you to Agri Impact Limited. Thank you to the Horticulture Business Platform, Twillium Industries, TWI, and our technology partners, Farmer Line. We say thank you to all of you for sponsoring the AgriFair 2025. Our patrons, you guys were amazing. Our participants, our exhibitors, all the vendors. Thank you so much for being part of the AgriFair. We have a few more days to end the month of June, and until June closes, we are not stopping. We're still in the business of bringing you expert ideas, expert information as part of the City Business Festival 2025. So we started on the 1st of June. We're going all the way to the 30th. And we ask that you continue to patronize our on-air series as well as our outdoor events. This morning, we're looking at Africa's place in the AI revolution as part of our on-air series, Africa's place in AI revolution. And Stefan Nwole, the CEO of Impuntu Technologies, will be speaking to us on that. And I'd like for you to join us on radio 97.3 City FM at 9 a.m. And then, of course, on Channel 1 TV, right here on Breakfast Daily at 10 a.m. We'll bring you that on-air series on Africa's place in the AI revolution. There's so much to learn from this, and I'd like to entreat you to join and to be a part of it. All right. Now, let's take you to the dailies this morning. Let's see what the papers are saying this morning. We have quite a few of them that came out this morning. I'll start with the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle says, Zoom Lion lands in Burkina as Africa expansion agenda continues. Zoom Lion lands in Burkina as Africa expansion agenda continues. Waste management company Zoom Lion Ghana Limited has extended its frontiers into several other African countries, and this time they have signed an MOU with Burkina Faso. You can see in that picture Dr. Siawe Japong, executive chairman of the Jospong Group of Companies, and the Burkinabe minister in charge of the environment, water and sanitation in there. Let's look at other stories on the front page. This one says, my removal process is politically motivated. That's suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokonu speaking there. She says, my removal process is politically motivated. Then you have electricity tariff hits the roof despite CD appreciation. Cuts, Semse worried. Electricity tariff hits the roof despite CD appreciation. Cuts, Semse worried. We shall now take our scripture for the day. It's from the book of Proverbs, the chapter number 16, the verse number 3. And it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Proverbs 16:3. When you go to the back page, you have President John Mahama meets Bill Gates in Brussels, Belgium. President John Mahama meets Bill Gates in Brussels, Belgium. And there's a wonderful picture story to it as well. Let me take you to the Daily Guide newspaper. Daily Guide newspaper says, I will not resign over dark, unlawful in-camera probe. Again, that's the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu speaking. She says, I will not resign over dark, unlawful in-camera probe. Justice Tokonu speaking there. OSP arrest former GRA SML staff. OSP arrest former GRA SML staff. Kufuor slams religious politics. Kufuor slams religious politics. So far, Akufo queries Talo license extension. So far, Akufo queries Talo license extension. 2 arrested over Dampong headmaster's murder. 2 arrested over Dampong headmaster's murder. The back page has a number of sports stories. Ernest Nuama's Lyon relegated to French Division 2. GBA President Ibrahim Nikwe resigns. Arsenal close to signing Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga. And then Ghana's under-17 coaches participate in FIFA exchange program in Abidjan. That's the Daily Guide newspaper. Let me bring you the Daybreak newspaper. Daybreak says, Nigerian merchants take over Lakan schedule. Nigerian merchants take over Lakan schedule. We know the BDCs have been complaining about this particular matter. They want the NPA's intervention in there. The delays in the schedule is costing them a lot of money in demurrage. Some paying about $50,000 per day for demurrage, and it's quite worrying, quite troubling. Yesu Moja in trouble as faith-based Sobolo craze sparks health concerns. Yesu Moja in trouble as faith-based Sobolo craze sparks health concerns. You have suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu speaking, and she says, Puamine-led committee treating my lawyers like Nebuchadnezzar's magicians. Puamine-led committee treating my lawyers like Nebuchadnezzar's magicians. Loyalty over convenience. Afenyo Markin calls for ideological renewal in NPP. Loyalty over convenience. Afenyo Markin calls for ideological renewal in NPP. Then you have the Potter's Village marks 25 years of touching lives, launches legacy fundraising campaign. That's the Daybreak newspaper. I'll take you to the New Republic. The New Republic says, Iyoko sweeps ex-NAFCO cartel, CEO, wife, and 2 directors nabbed. Iyoko sweeps ex-NAFCO cartel, that's the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, CEO, wife, and 2 directors nabbed. Death disaster rocks Kevin Ochiri. Debt disaster rocks Kevin Ochre. Swiss firm demands Springfield takeover amidst debt scandal. Oil tycoon seeks palace help as accusations of a $90 million fraud hits hard. Tokonu blah blah blah. Government says she must play by the rules or face the music. Ex-GRA boss, 2 others nabbed over SML scandal. Ex-GRA boss, 2 others nabbed over SML scandal. Then you have GJA elections plot thickens. GJA elections plot thickens. Jomfo implicated in voter register scam. Drivers, cleaners, watchmen, cameramen, and duplicate names uncovered. That's the New Republic newspaper. I'll bring you the Business Analyst, which says Tokonu government clash over removal process. Tokonu government clash over removal process. GJ elections, Kwabena Yeboah, Asempa crew, Ato, others endorse Jomfo. GJ elections, Kwabena Yeboah, Asempa crew, Ato, and others endorse Jomfo. BOG staff dismissal. Minority condemns act, demands immediate reinstatement. BOG staff dismissal. Minority condemns act, demands immediate reinstatement. Concerned lawyers call for global action over Sami Omar's detention in Kenya. Concerned lawyers call for global action over Sami Omar's detention in Kenya. GRA to introduce 15% VAT on non-life insurance premiums from July 1. GRA to introduce 15% VAT on non-life insurance premiums from July 1. Take you online. Start with citynewsroom.com. Citynewsroom.com says, Jean Mensah, other officials must go. They've mismanaged EC. This is attributed to the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Public commentary not the remedy. Inusa Husseini to suspended CJ. Public commentary not the remedy. Inusa Husseini to suspended CJ. Religious rights can't be waived by school choice. Muslim students tell Justice Amaliboba. Religious rights can't be waived by school choice. Muslim students tell Justice Amaliboba. Parliament approves bill to move midweek holidays to Fridays or Mondays. And when you go on the website, you see the full list of changes made to the holidays on there. Parliament approves a bill to move midweek holidays to Fridays or Mondays. And then another story is government to consider passing non-profit organization bill into law. Government to consider passing non-profit organization bill into law. Government to recruit 50,000 teachers, 10,000 non-teaching staff in 2025. This is according to the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu. Government to recruit 50,000 teachers, 10,000 non-teaching staff in 2025. Haruna Idrisu speaking there. She's a victim of the system she supervised. And Sasari fires Tokonu. That's the former director of the Ghana School of Law. And San Asari speaking there. No political motive behind CJ removal process. Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu speaking. No political motive behind CJ removal process. Choice of venue, secrecy of proceedings intended to intimidate me. Suspended CJ alleges. Choice of venue, Secrecy of proceedings intended to intimidate me. Suspended CJ alleges. Then you have the suspended Chief Justice knows where to report threats if she feels unsafe. Suspended Chief Justice knows where to report threats if she feels unsafe. That's Kwachio Fusu. That was in response to the press conference by the suspended CJ Gertrude Tokonu. What happened to the anti-LGBTQ bill you promised Ghanaians? Minority asks government. What happened to the anti-LGBTQ bill you promised Ghanaians? Minority is asking the government. All right, let me take you to channel1news.com. Channel1news.com. Article 146, not above human rights. And that's Asonaba Dapa, Diana Asonaba Dapa, a former Deputy Attorney General under the Kufuor administration, speaking there. Tokonu cannot dictate venue for impeachment hearing. That's the former Member of Parliament for Tamale. Inusa Fuseni, speaking there, is also a private legal practitioner. He says Tokonu cannot dictate venue for impeachment hearing. Suspended CJ's public address unacceptable. That's Ansa Asare speaking on the CJ's press conference. Suspended CJ's public address unacceptable. Interior Minister unveils new insurance package for firefighters. Interior Minister unveils new insurance package for firefighters. Resigning would legitimize a flawed process. That's the suspended CJ, Justice Gertrude Tokonu speaking. She says resigning would legitimize a flawed process. Again, Tokonu is here speaking, I am fighting injustice, not clinging to position. I am fighting injustice and not clinging to position. She again says, my removal process sets a dangerous precedent for judicial independence. My removal process sets a dangerous precedent for judicial independence. That's Justice Gertrude Tokonu. She again says, venue for impeachment hearing intended to intimidate me. Venue for impeachment hearing intended to intimidate me. Education Minister pushes for review of Library Act, proposes presidential libraries. Get Fund warns public against fraudulent recruitment and contract schemes. I'll use my experience to bring growth to GPHA. That's Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's been sworn in as board chair for the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, GPHA, and he says he will use his experience to bring growth to the GPHA. We have the details of these stories and several others on our web portals, channel1news.com as well as citynewsroom.com. Do log on to these portals and you will have full access to all these stories and more. I am Nana Tufo Boateng. You're watching Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the news review segment.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business fora, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, play to aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Let's get into the world of sports like never before.
You know how we do it on Fridays.
Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 City FM for Sports Panorama, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
One of the biggest scandals in this country's history. You can't spend 250 million USD and come out with that.
From the thrill of association football to the excitement of basketball, tennis, athletics, and even emerging sports, we cover it all. Whether it's the Premier League or the latest NBA showdown, we bring you the stories behind the stars.
Getting an opportunity to become a national team coach, he should understand the politics around football.
And don't miss the prayer of the rabbi.
Joe was Zebaut. How Zebaut there? Zebaut won Chaboke.
We're not just about the games, we're about the community.
If you are going to be given this kind of treatment, then you need to be that guy. When I look at him play, he is not it.
Or when it's time for Don't Call Me.
Join
the conversation as we connect with fans across the country and beyond. Want the latest updates? Send us your thoughts and we'll feature your comments live on air. And remember, we like to hear your predictions for matches and your thoughts in general. Think you know who's going to win? Let us know.
Big shout outs to my YouTube people.
Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. only on 97.3 City FM. Sports Panorama, where sports come alive. Sports Panorama, your weekly sports fix. Don't miss out on the action. Sports Panorama, catch the excitement every Friday.
Thank you for choosing us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. It's time now for the news review segment. A number of stories to deal with this morning. Hopefully we'll make judicious use of that time. Talking about that, we're starting off with the judiciary and, of course, the ongoing processes that are looking into the petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokonu. Yesterday, she held a press conference, which press conference got a reaction from government. Subsequently, other stakeholders have been speaking to same. I'll take a story from channel1news.com. I'll take a few paragraphs. I introduce my guest, and we'll begin the conversation on this particular matter. Channel1news.com reports that resigning would legitimize flawed process, and it's attributed to Justice Tokonu. And I read, suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu has reiterated her refusal to resign, warning that doing so would signal that flawed, unknown, and opaque processes are acceptable. She told journalists in Accra on Wednesday, June 25, that stepping down under such circumstances would undermine democratic principles and judicial integrity. If I resign under these circumstances, I will be saying that this flawed, unknown, and opaque processes are acceptable. It is not. And that's a quote from Justice Tokonu. She described the ongoing proceedings as bizarre and cautioned that acquiescing to them could inflict lasting damage on the country's democratic journey. Quote, finally, let me respectfully say that the current bizarre proceedings that I have brought to your attention present a twist to our nation's democratic journey that we all ignore at our own cost. And then there's a bit of a background. Suspended in May amid allegations of misconduct, Tokonu has argued that the inquiry deviates from established norms for such processes. She has raised concerns about an adversarial approach and irregular handling of evidence. All right, so these are stories from that particular press conference by the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. The Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, subsequently held a press conference and responded to some of the issues raised by the suspended CJ. He denied any political persecution. He also said that the venue for the inquiry is not intimidating. It is an open government facility that has been in existence and has been equipped with modern facilities to aid the work of the committee. Let me quickly introduce my guest, and then we'll begin the conversation this morning. Joining us for the first time on the show is Dr. Frederick Ntiamwa. He's a member of the NDC's communications team. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
I'm also happy to be here.
And then we have the Honorable Sete Champong, former regional minister, Eastern regional minister, also in studio with us. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Right, so we'll begin with the press conference by the CJ. Doc, I'll start with you. The CJ says clearly there's a calculated, illegal, unconstitutional process to remove her. And she thinks that the process is bizarre. And even the choice of the venue is calculated to intimidate her. She alleges that she is searched, her bag is searched when she has to go for an inquiry. We're listening to Felix Kwakye Ofosu yesterday, who says that there's no such vendetta against her, and that is just a constitutional process being followed. Your reaction to this?
Thank you, Nana. And let me say good morning to your viewers, and also extend my greetings to the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and most importantly to the youth of the country. And I always say that we are the brain behind the future of this country, and so we need to work hard to make sure that the reset agenda that the President has promised Ghanaians will be fruitful. To comment on the issue about the Honorable Chief Justice press conference, I would say that let this be put on record straight, that I think that this was not necessary. And for her to have, yes, it wasn't necessary. And for her to have gathered that courage to come out to expose process that is supposed to be confidential. This is one of the major reasons why she should go. I'm saying this because she's the one who has taken an oath to defend the Constitution at all times. And the same person who is the head of the judicial service at the Supreme Court, interpreting the Constitution, is breaching the same provision of the Constitution. What does Article 146, Clause 8 says?
That the hearing should be in camera.
In camera. Now she's come out and she's giving details about the procedure, the allegations that she claimed were filed against her, things that are supposed to be confidential, because we've had this process before. Even though it didn't involve Chief Justice, we've had the Electoral Commissioner gone through process like that. We've had justices of our Superior Court, Justice Derry, in a case against Justice Derry versus Tiger IPI in 2015, 2016. And these all processes went through in camera. So at what point, she being the head of our judicial in terms of interpretation, knowing, because if you look at her credentials, she was, making known to the public about the long service she's had, the kind of, status that she has, gotten to. We don't expect her to breach the Constitution that she's sworn an oath to protect. And if we look at the statement that she's put up, I would say these are allegations that are unfounded, and it will not stand any legal litmus test anywhere in our Constitution. Because one, she spoke about the fact that this is the first time that somebody has been subject to such procedure, which is wrong. We've had justices who have been subject to this procedure in camera, the Article 146. I mentioned about Justice Derry. We've had Charlotte Osei. We've had the Shrag Boss. All these
Loretta
people,
Lamte.
Yes, Loretta Lamte. All these people went through the procedure in camera. So at what point is she saying that she is so special and so she should be given some special dispensation? And she's stating that when she was going and she had to be searched. I haven't been to the Supreme Court, but my research tells me clearly that all those who go to the Supreme Court, they have to be searched.
But this particular hearing is not at the Supreme Court.
So I'll come back to that, Nana. It's not at the Supreme Court because if you look at the precedents that has been set already, all the people that were involved were presided over by Supreme Court Chief Justice. And this one involves the Chief Justice. So she cannot decide where the proceedings should take place.
But even more so, these are her colleagues. They know her. She knows them.
Yes.
So why are they searching her?
No, this is for security reasons. Because where the, if
What
you look
danger
at,
could she possibly pose?
because she's not the only person. Everybody that goes there is searched.
She says her husband was even refused entry. So if it's just me,
we come
CJ
back to
coming
that.
to sit
We
in
come
front
back
of
to
my
that.
colleagues, what danger could I possibly pose?
No, we come back to that. She's talking about the government, but let me finish this point. The point I'm trying to make here is that even at the Supreme Court, when people have cases there and they are supposed to go, they are searched, your phones. The last time I was at the one of the courts, your phone has to be, taken. So these are procedures that have been put in place by our judicial, system to make sure that everybody is safe, including you, the petitioner, or whoever is involved, the defendant, whoever is involved in whatever allegation that has been brought against you, and including the justices or whoever is presiding over the case. So it's not only her, but all the people that are within the area. We have to make sure that everybody is safe. And so the search is necessary because even at the Supreme Court, these things happen. Even at our district courts, they don't search, but most of the time they take your phones and certain things from you. So I don't see anything wrong with this. And we've had these processes gone on in the past. We never heard about Madam Charlotte Osei coming to complain that she went and she was searched at the Supreme Court, so now she's making issues out of it. So why is she complaining?
She applied for a public hearing because, according to her, she feels her rights are being violated.
She feels special.
That is
what she feels. She feels that she is more human than any other person because this is the law. And she stated clearly, the law is the law. What does the law say? If we read 146, at which point in the Constitution about the article states that somebody can have preference. Somebody should be positioned above others in terms of rule of law. We are all equal before the law.
But Chapter 5 of the Constitution provides for human rights.
Human rights.
If she feels her rights are being
against the
violated,
Constitution that we have sworn to protect.
It's in the same Constitution.
Your human rights is
so does confidentiality supersede human rights?
No, everything is in the Constitution. And if you are making human rights, then everybody can say that, oh, I have the right to do anything that I want. So if I pick gun here in the studio, and I tell you that that's my right. But is it in the Constitution? Whatever human rights she is asking for, is it in accordance with the Constitution? If it's in the Constitution, then we will say that whatever she is asking for is right, because the Constitution says that everybody has to be given the right. And the issue about the husband not being allowed, even if it was held in her own room, and I'm stating this, that her husband will still be excluded.
Although he's been mentioned in a petition?
She's not part of the process.
But he's been mentioned in a petition.
No, she's not part of the process. The husband has never been, presented with any case or any, document to come and answer. So she's the one supposed to come and answer. It's her conduct that brought her husband and her daughter. So if she's coming to answer, she cannot say that, let my husband follow me because my husband's name was mentioning, or in the course of, whatever petition that has been brought against me, my husband is found to be involved. No, this is nowhere. If the husband has breached any of our Constitution or has done anything wrong to the Constitution, I'm sure, he's not above the law. He will also be served if there's anything like that.
And her lawyer? Because she says that on the first day of the hearing, her lawyer was refused entry.
That one, I can't speak to that. And I'm not sure that the process will go that way. So whatever she is saying, I will say is unfounded. And I think that, like she stated, everything she's trying to do is to paint the picture of political vendetta. And I asked myself the question, is she a politician? I didn't know. Maybe my senior brother here will tell me if she's a card-bearing member of the NPP. But if not, then at what point is he supposed to suffer from political persecution? No. President Mahama, has demonstrated his fidelity to the Constitution. He's sworn to protect it at all times. And I can assure you that he's ever ready. Have you ever heard any comment from the president? No. She's the one who leaked even the information she requested. Before the information could be sent back after 10 days, he has already published it online for people to have, preview about what is going on, which is against the rules of the game. And I say that
because... Is that not within her rights?
No. These things are in camera. In camera means that everything we are going to do
is supposed to be hearing that is in camera.
Yes, and I'm saying that every process regarding from the first stage where you'll be served with a petition and all that, everything is supposed to be confidential. She knows about this. And I was surprised yesterday, she's making it look like the whole Ghana, the same song that Chamawun to me was singing, as if she's not a Ghanaian and all that, making allegations here and there. I say that these allegations are unfounded. They don't have basis and they will not stand any law. And that is why she's refusing. Because if she has any legitimate concern, she should go to the Supreme Court. The same judges.
Well, she's made some applications to the Supreme Court.
Yes. So she can still keep applying. Because the fact that you send one application that is striked out, it doesn't mean that you cannot go again. At any point in time, the court is there, the court has opened the doors, that if you have anything, you think that your human rights has been infringed upon, you think that the processes are not fair, just go to the court.
Very well.
And they are there to, listen to her.
Very
So
well.
I don't think that what she has come out to say holds any water. He just wants to throw dust into the public's eye to paint the president and the current administration as if we are after her. But she is not a politician. So if we have any target, then she's not part of our target.
Very well.
Not
I'll come back to you on the issues you raised regarding the process itself.
Yeah.
But let me pick the initial thoughts of the Honorable Sete Champo. The CJ going public with this process. What do you make of it?
I think I've listened to most commentaries. This is the first time in our life as a republic, 68 years, that a chief justice is on trial. So it's a novelty. It's never happened in this country before. So when I listen, I come back to myself and ask myself some questions. Indeed, 146 is clear. You don't need any interpretation on that. However, the Constitution is a Bill of Rights. And so some have also come up with Chapter 5, her rights, because you have to read the Constitution in whole and not just pick and choose. So, like I said, we've never seen it before. So practitioners believe that for her office, the person who heads the third arm of government must know and follow certain principles and practices. So she coming out is not right. That is another school of thought. Some believe that we are practicing a dispensation that allows every person to also express themselves when they believe that they need to do so. And so in that breath, I also understand that space. But my worry as a politician and a consummate one as such is when we say it is not political. My friends in NDC started pontificating at this Chief Justice in their process of campaign to the run-up of the 2024 elections. And when they come into office, they will see to it that she is changed. Not too long ago, just yesterday, the chairman of the ruling party, after being sworn in as a chairperson for the Ports and Harbours Authority, chairperson, had to feature at one of our media houses. And this is his message, that the electoral commissioner and the commissioners at the EC are not fit for purpose.
Right.
I know that after Chief Justice Tokomi, the next action of the government and her cohorts is to remove the entirety of the EC panel. Beautiful. My happiness is this. I know you're going to discuss the public holidays that have been amended, and I have a bite of that. If we are all alive and God grants us strength and energy, at least in my time as a Ghanaian, nobody can distort our history. I'll be able to speak to the history that I know about. My pain for this country is that many a time we try to write a history and rewrite the history of this country, which is not good and which is not fair. I will sit and tell all of us that what we are doing to the Chief Justice will come back to haunt us as a people. It is not fair and it is not right. The rules tells us, if you go to Article 296, we must, where the Constitution do not prescribe in certain terms, we need to establish certain rules by way of instruments to guide those who will be doing the bidding of the Constitution in such processes. Like I said, we haven't done that before. It's a novelty. And so we have that gap there. So when we are going through these processes and we do not permit it to happen in territories that are known, it worries every person. It's not the first time that the judiciary is going through these things. But it is the first time a Chief Justice, and that is
that's in the Fourth Republic.
In the Fourth Republic. And in the history of the establishment of our judiciary, no Chief Justice have ever been tried. No Chief Justice. We need to be clear in our minds. There's a Chief Justice, there are Supreme Court judges, there are Appeal Court judges in order of hierarchy. We come to High Court judges. And I'm saying that, yes, some Appeals Court judges, some other judges may have gone through some of these processes, but never a Chief Justice. And my worry in a democratic state where we have three arms of government, the head of the judiciary, the head of the legislature, and the head of the executive, we are giving too much strength and arm to the head of the executive to disadvantage the judiciary. And when I see that, I call that democracy capture. Why am I saying democracy capture? Democracy capture because the executive is holding the executive authority of states, vested in it by the Constitution.
The Constitution,
Fortunately for the executive is now having an absolute majority in the legislature, so it holds that authority. Now the only that we, all of us, the people's Chief Justice, and we should be minded of this, is being treated in this manner. And from my knowledge and my experience, I shouldn't speak about it.
But has there been any breach of the Constitution? Because the president so far, as we're being told by the minister in charge of communications.
I'm not talking about it. I didn't mention the president. Convenience sake, people will mention. I'm not mentioning the president. I'm talking about a dispensation you and I are living in, giving me the opportunity to sit here and speak my mind. It is by virtue of the Constitution, which is enshrined freedoms of expression. That is why we have been able to move on and step up. And in our dispensations, we have media pluralism for all of us to air our opinions. That is the benefit of the same Constitution. And I'm saying that we should not disadvantage that Constitution by allowing one organ created by that Constitution to disadvantage another organ within the same creation. And that is my worry. That's why I call democracy capture. So if the Chief Justice can be dismissed in this fashion, where do we go? And look, it is unfair. Even when you go to court and you've been served and somebody introduces a new material, you ask for that exhibit and you are given. Natural justice demands that if she asks of the panel some information, I believe it is fair and right that they serve them. Instead of writing to it that the president gave you all this, the president put us together. What if there's a little memo which was written and they haven't seen, and somebody perchance cites it and asks the questions about it? For me, fairness is fairness. You put it out there, but put that away. This is a playbook for me. Nobody can change my mind about that. It's been rehearsed. The people who wrote the petitions were coached. And you see, unfortunately, that's why I said, I pray to God that we are all alive in this country going forward. And I know this democracy will not stay in one area for the rest of the life of this country. It will go, the pendulum will shift and come to the other side. And if we are setting precedents today, and people become victims of it tomorrow, I pray nobody go to stand on the rooftop and shout that, hey, they are doing something which is bad. I don't believe in victimization.
But that's retaliatory politics.
But unfortunately, we're doing a democracy where majority rules. That's why when people conveniently mentions the president's name, I said that is an argument of convenience.
Yeah.
The president may not follow and believe in what is happening, but he's not a president for himself. He's the president emanating from a political tradition.
Yeah.
And if there are elements in the tradition who have so much strength in the tradition and believes in what must happen, the president cannot recuse himself from this. He would be within. And so I don't believe in that argument. The president, I don't want to involve the president in this conversation. I know elements in the current administration and its political tradition who are bent on seeing to it that certain elements of our state are reset by their own mantra. And this is why some of us will forever and ever speak against it, because it is not proper for the future of this country. It is not right in any sense for the future of this country. We are building and sowing seeds of enmity, very inimical to development and growth of this country. And it hurts me, not because I'm MPP. No, I don't need that. I want to be Ghanaian first. I was born a Ghanaian, and I must grow a Ghanaian, and I must believe in the spirit of Ghana. And that's why I believe in the Constitution of 1992, because I saw June 4th, 1979, and I saw 31st December 1981, and I lived it in this country till I emerged. And so when we have had this freedom, I wouldn't want to lose this freedom to anybody. If I err, the law must deal with me. But let's use the law appropriately, not disingenuous. Don't let us be disingenuous and come back and make convenient arguments. It doesn't wash.
Very well. Doc, on what, where Honorable Champo landed, being disingenuous with the law, we've seen moves in Parliament to sort of strengthen the processes for the removal of a CJ and Justice of Superior Courts. If we knew there was a problem with it, why are we using the same law against the CJ? And after we remove her, then we correct that problem. So you see, and that's where she alleges the plots or the deliberate plan to have her removed.
So, Nana, I would want to respond to a few things. The issue about one, this is something that we have promised during campaign. I mean, this is not true anywhere. One thing I want to say is that everybody is not beyond criticism in this country.
Oh, but of course.
We were here when the lawyer, the judge who sat in Mr. Opunin's case, this is the same Chief Justice we are talking about, was transferred just by a phone call. And I'll give you the article. You can go and read it. And so if such instances take place and people are complaining and criticizing about the fact that the judicial process is not fair, are we saying that once we put our criticisms out, we have set procedures in motion to remove the person? That's no. And in the first place, if I criticize you, do I have any grounds to petition somebody to remove you? Unless you have actually, have some misconduct. Because if you look at it, yeah, we came to power when we were in opposition. Yes, we criticized, and I'll take that. We criticize president, we criticize, Speaker of Parliament, we criticize,
because you had every right.
Yes, we have every right to criticize her. But the criticism doesn't mean that once we've criticized you, that means that once we come, the criticism is enough grounds to remove you. No. There are reasons that have been stated in our constitution, and the framers knew that things of this sort, we are humans, and we are what? We are infallible. And so one day, somebody might do something contrary. And I heard my senior brother saying that she has rights. But the question I always want to ask, and this is to the public, for them to judge, is that are we saying that if we talk about rights, he spoke about freedom of expression. We've had in this country where people were summoned to the Supreme Court because of contempt. On what basis? Because of their expression. So you can say you have freedom of expression, but make sure that that expression does not go against any of our laws. If that expression goes against our laws, you'll be pulled. Even what she has done, I'm not a lawyer, but I want to find out, does this not amount to contempt in the case of the committee that is sitting on the case, because pointing directly to Justice Pamai, saying that she's not fit to sit on the case, and whatever they are saying does not have merit, and so she knows that they are doing everything to make sure that she's removed. This is a justice of the Supreme Court. And she being the Chief Justice is alleging that those justices that when she was, just a few months ago, she was empaneling them to sit on cases for people, now she has lost confidence in them. And now she's speaking all manner of words against them. Does this not amount to contempt?
She gave reasons why she thinks Justice Pamai especially should not be on the committee. So
everybody can also have a reason. But we are here in Ghana where people made statements because of judgment that were given by Supreme Court, and they were instantly pulled and say, come and answer. Because that is what? Contempt. And so if we say that, oh, because she's the Chief Justice, she has every right to make any comment that she wants, then it means that we are also choosing part of the Constitution and leaving part. So let's come to the issue about the constitutional review and reforms. My big brother was saying that he feels that, I mean, the way we are treating this case is not the best because it's setting a bad precedent. But I want to ask him, is it today that he's realizing that the Constitution has issues? Or when they were in power, he saw it, but he kept quiet because he thought it's never going to happen? You see, we have to be true. We have to be very truthful to ourselves that once we have identified that this is wrong, at any point in time, if we say we are honest people, then we should say it at every point in time. Don't wait when it is very inconvenient for you before you bring it out. The Chief Justice was the one interpreting the law, and he said the law is the law. At that point, when she was saying the law is the law, didn't she know that there were flaws in our Constitution? So she sat there and said the law is the law, knowing that there are flaws in the Constitution. She should have pointed out and say that, yes, I have come to meet the law, but the law has problems. And I think that going forward, President and Parliament and all that, they should start a constitutional review.
Justice Doche actually gave this warning in 2020, the issue of the CJ versus the Attorney General.
That is it. So she never made any complaint. Now, because it's biting her, she's now seen the flaws. She now can read widely. She can now see the letters and the spirit of the Constitution clearly. And now she's saying that, after all, the process is not fair. The process is not fair. It is the Constitution that is not fair. And I am asking, the people who wrote the Constitution, is the president part of the people who wrote the Constitution? We all came to meet the Constitution. The Consultative Assembly, I'm not sure President John Dramani Mahama was part. I'm not sure you are part, Nana. I'm also not part. We came to meet as it is. And so once we have come to meet the Constitution, the time they wrote the Constitution, the world had not developed to this level. So at this time, we have seen that even though they had good intentions and they envisaged that a lot of things will happen, but most of the things that are happening are very new. And we think that they don't find their place in the Constitution. So there's a need for amendment. And that is why the president promised that when he comes, he will kickstart. And he has kickstarted the process. Until the process is complete.
He couldn't have done that before the processes to remove the CJ?
To do what? So are we saying that, Nana, are we saying that?
You are using the same Constitution to find a problem with,
are you
to
saying
remove the
that,
CJ?
Yes,
and after you are done removing her, you amend?
No, the process is ongoing. The process started not because we are removing the Chief Justice, that's why we want to amend. We started the process before her removal process is also ongoing. So are we saying that today we are amending the Constitution, we should suspend all court proceedings, so we are done with the amendment of the Constitution?
No.
I tell you today, somebody
the majority
is being given a
was
sentence. I'm saying that
floor of
today,
Parliament.
somebody is being given a sentence in a district court, in any other court, even in Supreme Court today. So should we strike out whatever ruling that
was specific?
No, the majority leader is not
regarding
the
processes
Constitution
for the removal.
Because if you look
of
at
the CJ,
the current Chief Justice who has been suspended, her proximity to the opposition party, it is, you can easily tell. Now she's being represented by MPP everywhere. You saw after the press conference, she was having some pleasantries, exchanging pleasantries with MPP members and all that. And they are the people who came to back her. And I'm sure, I mean, they are the people pushing her to come out and come out and come out.
Mahama has appointed 7 justices to the Supreme Court. Can we say same about them?
The justices?
Can we say same about them? Because they are appointed by John Mahama. Can we say that there's a relationship between the NDC and these justices?
No, we are not talking
that is
about
what you are alleging.
No, that is not what I'm alleging. What I am saying is that the conduct of our Chief Justice and her close proximity to the opposition is what we are talking about. We are not saying that Nana Akufo-Addo appoint, because in any case, all the justices there, except one of them, they were all appointed under the, I think 2 of them, they were all appointed during the time of President Akufo-Addo. So why is she afraid? Even some of them, it was something that was through her own recommendation.
No,
so
that did not happen. That did not happen.
Definitely, she might have influenced some of them.
That did not happen.
So if she has influence to recommend, so why is she running away from the same people that she sat on panel with, discuss issues and all that? The Constitution, no matter what, she can make all the noise. But as it stands now, there hasn't been any provision that has been amended, and so we will still administer the Constitution as it is. And the president is going to abide by the Constitution and make sure that anybody who goes contrary to the rules of the game will be sent and be prosecuted as in accordance with the law.
I think thank you very much.
This is clear.
Honorable. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Dr. Ntiamwa must go and read about Kwame Champon said very well. Because you need to understand where I'm coming from. And you can go and ask about me from members of your political party who knows me. I'm happy that you don't know me very much and you're talking about me. I'm going to read about my positions when I was a legislator. When I was a legislator in the legislature, I believe in principles. Okay. I'm not just swept off my feet by the whims or caprice of any person's belief. And I want to state unequivocally, without fear of contradiction, that I have said on this platform that what I see as a playbook is the democracy capture, and it's unhealthy for this our democracy. On this very, very platform, I said it. Again, any person who asks me, am I now seeing that there are flaws in our constitution? At least when President Mills became a president, I was in Parliament. President Mills initiated a constitutional review commission, set up a whole commission. A whole proposal was made in a booklet form. We couldn't move forward with that.
Why?
Oh,
that's your...
I should be asking you.
No,
because you belong to the National Democratic Congress, who spent the taxpayers' money. Dr. Ntiamwa, I was so civil with you. I kept you.
So, no,
when you went, when you asked me a question, did I respond?
Okay, no.
So learn the communication skills very well. I don't want to do that with you.
Okay.
So the beauty of it is that it is a democracy. We may have the authority of states today. We may have some rights today. We may exercise them, whereby we may not be able to fully exercise and exhaust it. That is why we say a democracy is a continuum. And so he started it. He couldn't complete it. I'm happy President John Dramani Mahama, who inherited it, has gone a full cycle. God has gifted him again another opportunity, and he's come and put some statesmen together to work on that for us. So that is a process. President Akufo-Addo also did same. He couldn't complete it. I'm coming to the truth of the matter. Convenience sake, it is one forces the president is employing and is using for the exercise. I don't have a problem about it. We are all in this country. My joy is that the suspended Chief Justice says she's not going to resign. She's going to go through the entire process. And that for me is my joy, because we are going to have evidence after the exercise.
But I don't think resignation is legally permissible at this point. Once 146 proceedings have been initiated,
he has the right.
She could have before the setting up of
at the end of the day, the posture of the National Democratic Congress advocates and the way they prescribe and predict the end of what we are seeing. I mean, should I go and see a soothsayer to tell me what is going to happen? She knows that they are going to find her guilty. But she wants the people who put her there as a people's Chief Justice to know that she would follow through the process, won't give anybody a shortcut, and we would have some precedents established. That, for me, prescribes my Ghana First attitude. I have never seen Chief Justice Tokonu, her husband, nor any of her children in any of our MPP gatherings. I have never ever seen them in any of our MPP gatherings. But we have relations. I have good relationship with some members of government. We meet, we talk, we eat together, we share. We only differ on certain principles and ideologies. So if some members of my political lineage extend some fellowship with Justice Tokonu, it doesn't make her an MPP person.
Right.
That's why I am not comfortable with arguments of convenience. Let's speak to the issues. If you make it so tangential, you just destroy the entire conversation. And I don't think it is proper. I will continue to say, the playbook I'm seeing is pure democracy capture. I pray to the NDC. Maybe I may not be alive, but they are setting a precedence. Another tenure, another system may get a similar opportunity and may do worse. And they will stand on their actions of today to be the precedent that has been set. That is why we speak against their actions. That is not healthy for our young democracy. Some say our democracy is not young. Others have practiced democracy for centuries. We have gone just beyond 3 decades. And I love it because in the last 3 decades, I've seen a lot of improvement, a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity for the country's people. So I believe in the spirit and the letter of the Constitution and what it prescribes for us to do. That's why I will speak and defend the Constitution each and every day. I'm not defending Madam Tokonu, but I'm defending the office she holds. That's why I talked about the 3 arms of government.
Right.
If we give the opportunity and we don't speak up and allow the executive to treat the judiciary this way, we're doing nothing. There are some law lords today sitting there who are also reading through the lines. And look, you may believe me or not, you can do a survey. You realize that there are some judges they neither believe in NDC nor NPP. They believe in the state because for them that is their stewardship. And so when we who have identified ourselves to belong to certain political traditions decide to define them and clothe them with certain apparel, I find it a bit difficulty and an affront to their practice and profession. And I pray that going forward we will look at what we are doing. I believe that the woman must be treated fairly. They must do things right, but people are set in their ways. So sometimes I don't want to speak too much because they are made up their mind. Like I say, it's a playbook, and I wouldn't want to talk too much about it again.
Very well. The show is interactive. You can join us with your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. Your messages are coming in fast and quick. Let me take a few of them, and then we can continue the conversation in studio. This one from Sir Joe Baba in Bogatanga says, greetings to you and your producers. Yes, we all know for sure that the lenient CJ is gone, and nothing can change that. I was, however, happy to see her finally strip the devil naked for the international communities to see. Listening to her, it was obviously clear that all petitions leveled against her were frivolous for any president to establish a prima facie case against her. Well, posterity will be the best judge in the near future. This one says, good morning, Nana. The process for trying to remove the CJ was politically motivated. No doubt about that. It's a big shame. This is Ahmed from Nima in Accra. Nuti Fafa from Aflao says, laws don't take retrospective effect. Thus, the old law must be followed. If the CJ feels her rights are being abused, she should go to court. It's that simple. Good morning, everyone. In fact, the suspended CJ has exposed President Mahama and his NDC for using these unfounded excuses to remove her from office. It is only under injustice, President Mahama, that petitioners will not be allowed to go through cross-examination for their claims to remove the all-important person like the CJ. This is unbelievable. So this Mahama, is this the legacy Mahama wants to leave for Ghanaians? The response from government simply means it's a political agenda to remove the CJ. Well, that's what you say. Your name is QNet, Christian from Sandima. This one's a question to Doc. Kindly ask Doctor that will he accept a judge sitting on his case if the same judge is going to be a witness to his opponent? And isn't that the reason Puaman JSC had his name mentioned by the suspended CJ? This is Abeku asking you. Well, this is one of the issues raised by the suspended CJ, that Justice Puaman will be a witness to one of the petitioners, Daniel Ofori, while sitting on the same matter. So, I mean, we only live to see, or wait to see what happens throughout the process. But let's move on to our second issue for the day. Electricity tariffs are set to go up 2.45% effective July 1. We saw a 14.7...
no, 14%.
A 14% increase earlier. The second pricing, we're now going to see, as the second review, we're going to see a 2.45%.
Yeah.
But the city, you say, is appreciating.
Yes.
What is happening?
Nana, if you look at, Ghana now, and you look at our energy sector, we operate with what we call automatic adjustment. And so the factors of production, that is, to be able to produce electricity, must be considered when reviewing prices or tariffs. And if we look at the factors, one of the factors that we look at is, one, our currency to other foreign currency, that's the strength. We also look at the price of fuel that we use to run, because aside Akosombo, most of the energy that we get come from our thermal plants, and these plants have to be fuel to run. So the price of fuel at that time. We also look at legacy debt. Then we also have to consider what we call capacity charges.
Right.
So if you look at currently what we have in our system, the fuel prices have gone down. We also have the CD having much strength against our forex. So these two factors are in good shape. But we have a legacy debt, something that is hanging on our neck. And we know it's close to about, if you put all together, about $4 billion. And so we need to do something about it. The next thing...
Which debts we have been taxed, we have been paying taxes for all along.
Tax? Which tax?
It's the energy sector levy.
Energy sector levy. Energy sector levy, if we want to talk about it here today, we are not going to leave there. So we have ESLA. The ESLA was brought in by President Mahama, and when the NPP came to power, they mortgaged it. And so the monies that were supposed to come out of ESLA, instead of using to pay part of the debt, so that by now we will not have that overhang debt on our neck, it didn't go that way. They had to mortgage it for a loan of $2.4 or $2.5 billion. And so that is where we are today. So that money wasn't available for the past 8 years to be used to offset this year's energy sector debt.
Well.
And that is how come that when we came, we realized that no, we still have to touch on the ESLA, because we know that the ESLA was the only way out, because the debt is from 92. If you look at the records, it's not one government. That's why we call legacy debt. And so if after the 2013, all the way 2015 doomsaw, we realized that no, we need to bring something out that is going to work and help posterity, so that we don't go back to that dark age where we entered and a lot of companies were struggling and all that. And that's why President Mahama was a visionary to come out with that ESLA. And I will say this on the records. During the handing over around 2016, late 2016 to early 2017, there's one thing that President Mahama said to President Akufo-Addo, that he can touch anything, but he's begging him, the ESLA, you shouldn't touch it. But he didn't listen. He came and he touched it, they mortgaged it, took loan, even get fund, they had to mortgage it. when was the last time you saw Get Fund? I mean, vehicles. Those days you see schools being donated with Get Fund. I know they even NHIS.
So now you've uncapped it.
So yes, and we thought that the debt is so huge that we need to do. But that is not only the issue. The issue has to do with IMF conditionality. The NPP has made the argument when we were talking about favorable economic policies that we have brought to make sure that whatever we are enjoying today, it is the sole work of the government. They were saying that no, it is because we are under IMF program, and the IMF program, government cannot do anything about it, which means that it is something that is fixed. You just have to follow it. If you go against the program, then because the money comes in trenches, it means that at a point you are not going to get it.
There will be a cut-off.
Yes, there will be cut-off. And the consequence is very damning for the country. It will even affect our currency and all that. And so when we came, we decided to follow the program. And if you look at the IMF program, the conditionality, if you look at the staff level agreement, which is on about page 76, you see that it was agreed that there should be quarterly adjustments. People say that, oh, when you say quarterly adjustment, it doesn't mean that you have to increase it. But I ask myself, why did you go to IMF? If you were self-sufficient and you had money, you wouldn't go and borrow. So the fact that you have gone to borrow and they are giving you conditions, they are not telling you to come and reduce things because you were indebtedness. You were in debt, and that is why you went. And so that adjustment will always be upward. Unless we are out of that agreement, and we think that we are sufficient enough, so at any point in time we need to do that. But you are still borrowing. They are
but you just told us that we are under an automatic quarterly review system.
So that is what I'm coming. So if you look at that, just suppose that with the IMF conditionality, it means that every quarter we need to adjust. And so currently this adjustment, you see, is not as compared to the previous one that came, 14%. This is just 2.5%. The 2.5%, I'm just running it. Just 2.5%. This 2.5% factor in what we call capacity charges. And let me explain capacity charge. You see, once we have thermal plants, whoever went for the loan, an individual, a corporate organization, they come and build the plant here. Once the plant is in a capacity to produce, whether it is producing or not, there's a minimum that we need to give them so that they can offset some of the, the bills in putting up, in putting up that until a time that we have been able to pay all that money for that agreement either to end. And so that capacity charges alone a year is $500 million. And so if you look at that capacity charge, when they came, during the time of the NPP, there were cabinet issues about they not wanting to pay. So as we stand now, we have debt that we need to pay in terms of capacity charges. At the same time, we are looking at the fuel to run the plant, and we are looking at 1.2 billion. So if we put all these factors in play, then going according to the IMF conditionality, then we need to adjust tariff. And I'm telling you that in Ghana, as we stand now, that we have gone for a loan, extended loan facility, that shows that we don't have our own money. We cannot adjust downwards. We are going to adjust upwards until a time that we are sufficient enough to be able to say that we are not going under any condition. And so, and if you look at production, the factors that goes into electricity production and what we pay is not the same. The government over the years has been subsidizing all these things for us to enjoy. So even the one that we are crying about is not the same amount that we are paying because to adjust tariff quarterly,
so we're not paying realistic tariffs.
Yes, realistic tariffs. As in when we have to pay, it is not politically feasible for a government because the ordinary citizens are going to cry, they are going to kick about you. So most governments are not interested in putting a lot of these costs for the ordinary Ghanaians to pay. And that has worried us a lot, leaving us that huge debt. And so when we came, we cannot continue to add up to the debt. So we have to make sure that everything, at least the consumer should pay close, if not the same, close to what should be the reality in terms of payment. And that is what has brought this 2.5 increment.
Very well. Look, I'll come to you, but I need to take a break at this point. I'll come to you and then we'll deal with the issue of tariffs before we move on to other matters. This is the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Kindly stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ready for a smile makeover? Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. Cosmetic dentistry services can enhance your smile's beauty and boost your confidence with a more attractive and radiant look. Whether you're interested in teeth whitening, veneers, or a complete smile transformation, an experienced dental team can help you achieve the smile of your dreams. The process begins with a consultation where we assess your oral health, discuss your specific concerns and goals to create a tailored treatment plan. While smile makeovers primarily focus on improving the appearance of the smile, they can also offer functional benefits such as better bite alignment, improved chewing ability, and enhanced overall health.
Healthy smile. Hi, friend. Where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go, go, go!
My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that Munich dreamed about.
These guys are the best.
GoTV's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go with GoTV Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GoTV. Love it.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 Television. We're having a news review segment. I'm having a conversation with Dr. Intiamwa and the Honorable Seth Champong. I'm going to Honorable Champong now on the issue of an increase, proposed increase in electricity tariff set to take effect July 1. Honorable, your take on this. With all the prevailing conditions, ordinarily, a typical Ghanaian would not have expected an increase. But here we are. We are set to pay 2.45% more by July 1.
What can we do? That is what the people who are managing our economy has told us they are going to do. When they do that, that is the best way they can manage the economy for us. We believed in whatever they told us, and we elected them to come and manage. They're enjoying their goodwill, so this is the time for them to get the people to bite the bullet. So I'm not surprised that this is what is happening. We knew it was going to happen in any way. You only ask yourself about the crude market. It's a futures market. And so conveniently when people say that, yes, our currency is looking good, and currency looking good was not just, if you go through the parameters that have been put out and the indicators which got us to be where we are, except we are going to tell ourselves that there's some magic one that this government has introduced that has got us to where we are today. I mean, this is collective actions taken to manage our economy well that has brought us where we are. We are not in government today, so we cannot lay claim to anything. And if the administration of the day wants to credit you with some, they may. If they do not, you cannot do otherwise. But come to the more important matter before us. It's about the increment, which is worrying. We haven't seen any, huge increase in the world crude market prices, which are most of the time the contributing indicator that allows us to adjust tariffs. Conveniently, my friends will say, you signed up the new agreement with the International Monetary Fund, and that agreement says that there will be quarterly adjustments of your tariffs. So as a result of that, they are introducing this new increase, and they conveniently will say it's because of the IMF agreement you signed. Let's live with it, and it's not just that is coming up. The insurance, the financial market is also seeing an increase on non-life insurance, and that is coming also heavy. I don't know whether that is also part of the IMF conditionalities, but you can tell us that is the doing of the previous government and talk about legacy debt. And I'm happy that Dr. Ntiamwa talked about legacy debt, mean that started from the PNDC era to where we are today. And so if you may allow me, and I was going to do what they know how to do best, equalization, now who costs up? So you don't try to do that. And before His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left office, we also signed on some private agreements, on private power agreements to help and boost our generating capacity. And some of the agreements and the rates at which we bought power from the independent power generators, quite high. And the previous administration had to sit and renegotiate with some of the independent power producers. And that is what brought us what we used to say take or pay agreements, because yes, we needed a capacity.
We're in a crisis then.
I have no challenge to that. We've been in crisis since 2006 when we first experienced that our main hydro supplier was going down, and we injected with thermal energy. That brought about the development of Abuadzi thermal plants, and then subsequently allowing other thermal operators to come into the generating sector. So that is clear to everybody that our economy was expanding, our economy was growing. You cannot grow without the needed and requisite energy supplies to your economy, and so we can run away from that. But at what cost are you doing the negotiations? That is where my campaign, my challenge comes with. If you could negotiate it lower, you could find it. We should do that international comparison and see when we signed for some 12 cents, which other countries were running around 6 cents. So who was to benefit from those agreements? And then those debts piles up. God returns you into administration. You come to see your own creation, and you want to paint it that it is the previous administration who did it. They are talking about mortgaging some statutory funds. I don't know. When we talk precedents, sometimes my friends in NDC forget who brought the idea that you could mortgage statutory funds for other successive administrations to also learn and mortgage statutory funds. We trade with the same international partners, bilateral partners, multilateral partners. So once a precedent has been established, they are the ones you work with. They'll tell you, oh, this is how you people did it to us. And you don't come into office and remain who you are. You remain for the interest of the country, Ghana. Ghana negotiated with us with these things. You have this, you have that. Those are your options. What do you do now? You may say we capped some of the statutory funds, which we shouldn't have. After a while, we should have allowed this capping to be taken off, but we managed it in a way. But I dare say that when NDC tells us that we mortgaged ESLA, who mortgaged the road fund first for us to know? I don't like doing some of these things.
Yeah, because the politics of comparison
it is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Let's just discuss the issue which is before us. If you negotiate an agreement which is poor and bad, and it becomes an albatross on the neck on the country, and you come back to meet it, and you want to shift blame that somebody caused it. At the time that the NDC were leaving office on 6th of January 2017, what was the debt of the energy sector? How did they leave the energy sector before they went home? What was the debt then? And what is the debt today? If we had not been that creative to manage that sector very well, it would have collapsed. A projection by our partners was that the debt they left out was going to balloon to the huge of 12 billion. But with the kind and wise management, we kept it at where they came to meet it. So don't come and tell me that somebody left you legacy debts, which you have decently, and I congratulate Dr. Tiamwa for defining legacy debt for us today, because they have enjoyed administration of this country beyond normalcy, and they have created it. So I pray to Almighty God to continue to help them take the whole country away from this legacy inheritance, so that we can enjoy some commensurate economical freedom. That is my prayer, that God should help them to navigate so that they can reduce the burden on the Ghanaian consumer, because consuming electricity and electricity consumption is very high, very expensive, and they will give you all the narratives, capacity charges, they will give you line losses, they will give you generation losses, they will give you all the definitions. The truth of the matter is that the take or pay really killed this country and took us to our knees. We've been doing our best to lift ourselves up. And I'm always happy when I say the people don't understand me, that NDC is in office today. What they created, they have come to meet it. They have to help us solve it.
Well, Doc, briefly in 2 minutes, a response to this.
What I will say is, when I said legacy debt, I am not talking about proportions. I'm talking about how long the debt has been standing. So if my big brother is making reference to the fact that I gave explanation to legacy debt, yes, I explained, but I did not tell who contributed what to the legacy debt. Because if we want to go into that, then we will know. And also talking about the fact that the issue has been created by NDC and now we have come to meet it again. I will say amen to the prayer, because that is why we came to power.
So you're going to solve it?
We will solve it. And that is why Ghanaians voted for us. And that's why they are going to vote for us for us to be in power and make Ghana a heaven.
Congratulations.
For my big brother to enjoy. Currently he's enjoying, but you see, for the optics and things, he will not admit here. But
are you enjoying?
Yes, I'm enjoying. When I was coming and I filled my car, it was cool. Unlike before. So, I mean, there are changes. We all experience it. Prices of things are going down. I mean, these things, we can't run away from it, which is true. But what I want to say is that if we are looking at the power side, I am not happy that today you wake up and tomorrow there's an announcement that we are going to increase tariff. Even the richest person in the world, no. But the condition we find ourselves now, that is the best solution. And it takes president or a leader who is visionary and who is bold to make certain decisions that will affect the lives of the people. And so I think that this is the best that Ghanaians voted. They saw this in us and they voted for us, that when we come to power, we'll be able to put measures to make sure that, because if 2-3 years from now, we go back to Dumso, is it not going to affect everything? It will cripple almost every aspect of our economy. And that is what we don't want to experience. And so they should bear with us. These quarterly adjustments and all this, we are not saying that they are pleasant, but that is where we find ourselves. We need to make sure that we keep the lights on, to make sure that our 24-hour economy policy, people are opening industries and all that. And a modern economy thrives on energy. If we have energy crisis today, everything is going to crash. And so I believe that whatever we are doing is in the interest of the good people of Ghana, and that is why they voted for us in power. And so we'll work hard and make sure that we reset Ghana to its best.
Well, then I hope I did not express any ambiguity about his legacy debt. I'm surprised.
Not at all.
Yes, I'm surprised he came back to.
You actually credited him for
yes, I'm surprised he
it.
came back to that. I did not express any ambiguity.
I understand.
Listen. You inherited a constitutional democracy,
right?
And which was your own creation. This constitution today we are enjoying is a gift from the NDC, who moved away from P and just created their NDC. It was PNDC. And so if anything occurred in that era, and let's do the mathematics, they've been enjoying the democratic administration more than my tradition. And proud to that, they were there. So if anybody would have experience, they have the best.
Right.
All my prayer is that I don't want to travel to Kumasi and then there will be power cuts. I don't want to go to my village and then there will be power cuts with these increases. This is my worry, this is my concern. And conveniently, my brother in Tiamat said that prices of goods and services are going down. I don't know where he shops from. Where I shop from, nothing has changed in respect of prices, in respect of goods and services. Nothing. Rather, we keep even going higher. I was hoping that the performance of our currency vis-a-vis international trade prices also being stable in a sense, we were going to see some ripple effect in our purchasing power, and at the same time the goods and services that we engage with. None of that has happened. So I may be seated here in prayer because as a child of faith, I always have confidence that the God I pray to will listen to me.
But at least the fuel has come down.
Oh, Nana, can you tell me the percentage it has come down? When it came down, is to what percentage?
It's dropped down from somewhere 14 cedis a liter to about 12.
And we should look at how much it is being sold on the international market. You see, that is why I don't go too much into that kind of argument, because if you do the mathematics and you do why we must sell fuel at certain rates, then it will be defeated totally. Because you talk about cost of funds, you talk about cost of our currency against the international trading currency, and then the price of the commodity. At the time we were in office, the commodity was not at $74 per barrel. So you should understand, that is why we, through previous administrations, the automatic adjustment formula was established, because we got to a point where you would prepare a budget, because it's a futures market, you would project maybe at the start of the year, for instance, this year was around 64. And so you may project that it may go to a height of maybe 80, looking at the global conditions. And then something occurs, and then it can shift and go beyond maybe 100, which you did not project when you were preparing for your on your numbers. So these are some of the issues that allow us to trip off our numbers. So for me, if we are buying fuel at that rate, it is no news, because the ingredients that adds up to give us the pump price, we have a very low indicators that should rather let it sell even at 10 at the pump. But hey, we have all these inbuilt taxes that I was hoping that my good friends who told us there's no need to tax your way out of your debt, we're not going to add. I thought they were not even going to introduce a single element of taxation. My own brother Atu Forsen said it when he was facing the appointments committee. And I'm surprised that a few days down the line, they find it so convenient because they know that commodity that every Ghanaian cannot run away from is fuel. And they try to slap a huge 1 cedi per liter on that commodity. I'm hoping to see what next steps they will take.
Well, eventually they've suspended it.
Now that it is in suspension, I don't know whether it is going to be in a cooler till that kingdom come, but I pray that it stays there so that we can enjoy our freedoms.
Very well, very well, very well. Doc, you've amended the public holidays bill. Now you are seeking to move holidays on weekdays to the preceding Friday or the next Monday. 1st July is coming back as Republic Day. August 4 is going away. September 21 is coming back as Founders Day. Your thoughts?
What I want to say is that if you look at the holidays that we had and we've been experiencing, I remember when I was young. Now those days when you are in government school, all you pray about is a holiday because
we like holidays too much.
Yes. But even that, we had the last administration, we had a number of holidays being added and all that. And we think that as a country, if we want to move forward, there's no need to have so many, because it looks like we have so many holidays in Ghana. If you look at the last 8 years, the few that have been added to what we already had, and some of them had to be changed based on convenience and people's way of crediting some individuals that they think that they have been good to them. And we think that no, because it was Founders Day and it was changed to another thing. And we think that no, we should bring it back. For the 1st July one that I want to talk about, this one, if you look at Ghana, beside economic policies that government has to deliberately put measures in place to make sure that the economy is able to grow, create enabling environment. This is a Christian country. And I can tell you that a lot of people, whether they go to church, whether they belong to a religious organization, believe that whatever is happening around us in our neighboring countries, especially if you look at the borders where jihadis are always moving everywhere, but Ghana is still safe and very peaceful. It is only the hands of God that is doing this. And so the president promised in the campaign message, it was even part of the manifesto, that when he comes, he will let us have a national day of prayer. And I think that it's very important because there is the presence of a supernatural being in our affairs as Ghanaians, whether we like it or yes. It doesn't matter where you belong, whether you belong to any fashion, you still acknowledge the presence of a supernatural being. And so we believe that God has been very gracious to us. And so as a country, we have the Muslims, they also believe in God. We have Christians, even our traditional authorities and all that, they have the shrines and all that, but they still pray and believe that there's a supernatural being, God. And so we all have a common front that unites us. And we want to capitalize on that common front that unites us, because aside football and other things, we go to other countries that unite them. Ghana, we have a very rich culture in terms of our religion. Now, if a Muslim is having a program, it's likely that he will invite a lot of Christians. And this coexistence is only found in Ghana. Elsewhere, if you're a Christian, you dare not talk to a Muslim. Elsewhere, you are a Christian, you dare not associate with somebody else. But this is a country that the unity does not go outside religion. It's still within, even with the small differences in religion, we still see ourselves as Ghanaians. And we feel that making, 1st July a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a national prayer day is going to help strengthen that bond that exists between us. Because now it looks like tribalism is taking over, and we feel that making a na effect to divide us. So if we have something that we can stand on it to unite us and also strengthen the bond that is between me and my senior brother here, then it's a very good start for us.
Right.
And that is why we have decided to make the 1st July a national holiday.
Right. Honorable, amendments to the bill.
Unfortunately, I'm saddened.
Why so?
I'm saddened because we are destroying a beautiful fabric called the Republic of Ghana. Before the Fourth Republic and the First Republic, we had what we call Nkrumah Memorial Day, which was celebrated, and that was on his birthday. I find it unfortunate that the history of this country is written and read, and we still want to debate how this country was founded. Nana, this beautiful daily breakfast show you host, some have sat at the saddle before you taking the seat.
Yeah.
So when they are writing the history of daily breakfast, we don't only say today Nana Tufo Boating is the uncle, so daily breakfast is hanged on Nana Tufo.
No.
And that is what we are trying to do to ourselves. That is why I say I am saddened. We need to encourage that unity, that love, that passion, rallying around a flag. Let everybody feel that they also matter when it comes to the affairs of this good country. And so trying to always make Nkrumah the sole and only owner of Ghana, it doesn't look good for us as a country. Nobody can take the credibility and the standing of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah away. Nobody. However, let us respect other contributors as forebears. So when the 4th August was created, I saw that we were doing some good to ourselves. But it looks that the polarization keeps deepening. And that is my worry for this country. That's why I say I'm sad. When we created the Constitutional Day of 7th January, that is accepted.
Yeah.
Because why? That must also give posterity some information and knowledge that there was once upon a time in this country, we had a leader called Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlins, and under whose watch we created the 4th Republic. And we say, let's have a Constitutional Day. It goes to his credit. Those who started the struggle before Nkrumah came, do we want to say they don't matter? Then we should change our currency. I pray that the reset will change our currency and take away the basics of the currency.
Right.
We don't need that in our history. What are we doing to ourselves? Politics of convenience? Is that how we want to run this country? I'm pained. I'm pained because I've lived with whoever is and whatever is happening. I've lived it. That's why I'm not happy as a Ghanaian. It isn't because it was done under my government and I was fully integral and involved because I was the chairperson for the Defense and Interior Committee at the time. So I piloted that law. But doing that law gave me opportunity to learn more about the history of this country. Because you don't just walk in to amend a law when you don't have to get the accompanying memorandum and the spirit and letter back in the law. So I find it very unfortunate. There is the other bit, which is shifting the
holidays
to the weekend. And I believe before they do so, they will definitely get advice because our Interpretation Act has been assisting us in that direction because when a holiday falls, mostly in a weekend, we allow the preceding new working day to take. That is from the Interpretation Act.
Right.
But shifting this away and making it that sense. I mean, I feel saddened with the happenings that is going on in this country. Let's believe in building the country. When Kutu Champon introduced Operation Feed Yourself, we are now renaming it in several ways. When Kutu Champon introduced National Service, which we are still benefiting from, what are we doing to ourselves? That is why governance is a continuum. So if we are always going to come in and redo, you know something which is so funny to me. When President Kufuor became a president and was rehabilitating the then Flagstaff House, and made it a Jubilee House because we're celebrating a Jubilee.
A Jubilee, yeah.
My friends came into office, quickly they went just and changed the name, Flagstaff House. I don't have a problem. Do you know the significance of a Flagstaff House? It was representing the crown. We are a republic and an independent state, and we still want to be attached to our colonial days.
Very well. Very well.
Oh,
thank you so much. Unfortunately, gentlemen, we've run out of time. We'll have to leave it here. We'll find time to continue the conversations. But no. Oh, you started the conversation. We've run out of time. Thank you so much, Dr. Ntiamwa, Honorable Secretary Champon, and thank you so much for staying with us throughout the news review segment. Continue watching the program. Breakfast Daily continues after this break.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm in rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. And Net Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great.
Yes, I can. I'm so excited.
They turn an ordinary night into something
awesome.
Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is gonna be so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long.
Ah!
On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Hi friend, where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go! My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that you dreamed about.
These guys are the best. GoTV's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go with GoTV Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GoTV. Love it.
Two wrongs is a problem. So two wrongs is problem.
Yes.
So once there are two wrongs, then there's a problem.
Yes.
If wishes were horses,
Beggars may rise.
And what?
Beggars may rise.
oh my God! If wishes were horses, beggars.
Don't beg.
Pardon?
Don't beg.
If wishes were horses, beggars
Won't ride.
Huh?
Beggars won't ride.
If wishes were horses, then beggars will.
The beggars also was. The beggars also was.
Say that again. So if wishes were horses, beggars.
A beggars was horses. A beggars was horses.
That'd be deep. That'd be deep.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, play to aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, you are welcome to Breakfast Daily. In case you're just joining us, Nana actually started the show by 7 o'clock, and now it's time for Philip and I to take you through a jolly ride from now to 11 o'clock. My name is Chris Carter, and of course, I said I was doing this with
Philip Me Latte. Yes, we have a lot for our viewers today. We started still thanking you out there for being part of the AgriFair 2025. We couldn't have done this without you. We are still thanking you because the onus lies on us for us to be grateful for what you have done for us. You coming in to the Ifwa Sunderland Park in your numbers and patronizing from our vendors and exhibitors and all that. So we are so much grateful for your time, for purchasing, for believing in the dream that Channel 1 TV and also City 97.3 FM can bring together all the farmers and people who can give you the best prices and all that in terms of the produce you bought or the items you bought. So don't forget that we would organize it again, and should we organize it again, the people who forgot or didn't attend the event should really make it a point and be there. We still want to thank our sponsors who made it a point to sponsor us for this all-important event. Ghana Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Development Bank Ghana, Agri Impact Limited, the Horticulture Business Platform, and Chilium Ghana Limited, with technology partner being Farmerline. We just want to thank you all for being part of this event.
All right. And remember that the Absa City Business Festival is still on, which started from the 1st of June to running down through the 30th of June. And that's next week, yeah. So after next week, you won't be seeing the City Business Festival on air again. But then again, talking about on air, we have some on air series that are actually linked to the ABSA City Business Festivals. I'm sure you have been watching some of them, where we, look at different industries and get experts from those industries to actually share knowledge based on those industries to each and every one of us, for us to get abreast of what's happening and also the innovations that are changing the face of these industries, just in case you are interested in getting any of this industry. We've seen agriculture, we've seen tourism, and right now it's all about tech. This week has been all about tech. So today on the On Air series, we are going to be looking at Africa's place in the AI revolution. AI is here to stay, but what is Africa's place in the AI revolution? So Stefan Wole, the CEO of Mpontu Technologies, is going to be sitting with the host today, and they are going to be discussing that. If you want to catch it on radio, it's 9 o'clock, which it has already started already on City 97.3 FM and 10 a.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. We want to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Absa Bank, MTN, Zondatech, and remember that this is powered by Channel 1 TV and City 97.3 FM.
So make sure that you are part of it, because we are wrapping everything up in the next 4 days or less. City Business Festival on air series and all that will come to an end. But make sure that you join today's. If you've not yet joined on Radio 97.3 CDFM, then you should be able to join on TV on Channel 1 TV.
Right.
But what is trending? What is trending? What is trending? A number of things are trending. Yesterday, the Chief Justice suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu Saki held a press conference. She's not excited about the process that is leading to her removal. And also the government side also came in to address some concerns she has raised. And from the government's communications side, Felix Kwache Ofosu Kwache, he indicates that it's regrettable, the press conference that she held. But we are not going into details with whatever she said, but we are looking at what is happening in the trend. So on X, for instance, Osajifo Oliver Baka Bomawo says that the Chief Justice has no belief in the judiciary over which she presides. That is the question he's asking. Another one too from George Peter Kalnum says that, how did we allow our former Chief Justice to go this low? Well, she's not yet a former Chief Justice, because she hasn't been removed yet. The process is still underway. Whether it's going to happen or not, we are yet to see. Another interesting one that came in was when the Chief Justice made mention of the fact that she would not resign. She would go a full haul through the process. So Berry on X says that a suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu says she won't resign either today or tomorrow, because she won't get her salaries and other incentives when she does. I won't leave my money. That's what someone is saying on X. Do you have some tweets on that?
Yeah, we have Poponi J, who's saying Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tokunu. In fact, he called her full name, her whole government name, as Chief Justice, was not just paying her husband and daughter per diems illegally, but she was also awarding contracts to her daughter through a restricted tendering process. And the person put some documents right there. And also we have another one by Kiss Me _ Quick is saying that the suspended Chief Justice is not serious. When Charlotte Osei requested for copies of the petition, this same Chief Justice
yes,
actually refused. And there is a picture of, an article from, I think, Ghana Web that says, give me a copy of my removal petition. And you can clearly see a picture of Charlotte Osei. And this is Charlotte to the Chief Justice. And yeah, we have another one. Janice Jinian saying, breaking the almighty Osono Mami.
You know Osono?
What does it mean?
Osono is elephant.
Wow.
So Osono Mami, but it's not everything you would have to read.
Yeah.
Social media, yes.
Well, the suspended former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana, Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tokunu, has resigned. I don't know.
So she didn't state that she would resign. She says that she's not going to resign or retire. She's going to go through the entire process, and it's made the news the entire morning. Almost all the big networks or the TV stations, portal, online portal, newspapers, and all that. But there's the reaction coming on social media from Ban's suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono after giving her press conference. There's a picture of her, Apenyomakin, knowing he wrote the speech anyway. So let's move on.
Just a reminder, as we go through the trends and we read some of these things, these are not our opinions.
Yes.
These are just reactions and comment coming from
social media.
People on social media.
So we understand that Arsenal is not renewing the contract of Thomas Partey. That is what we know. And Thomas Partey now leaves Arsenal as a free agent. Where is he going next? We do not know. Others are saying that he should join his people in Saudi because now they are raking a lot of money in Saudi.
Clearly, that could be the next direction.
You think so?
If it was you, what would you do? You've gotten to the stage whereby like a team like Arsenal can say, okay, we have to let you go. What will you do? Will you definitely go back to? Are you going to come back here?
Oh, no. You go to a place where you think that, well, you can make enough money because with the expertise he has, he's really made his name and is up there. So if he should do so, he should take a decision next as to how to go. But maybe his management is also going to help him where he should go next. But what I'm also hearing, the reason why Arsenal is not trying to reduce contracts is the fact that they can't really pay him the amount of money, or they can't increase the money, and they can't reduce the money either. So they'll just have to let him go as a free agent. Some tweets coming on that from Abochi says that, thank you for everything, Thomas Partey. You will be missed. Yes, you'll be missed in Arsenal. And also from Fabrizio says that Thomas Partey set to leave Arsenal as free agent at the end of the month, that is June. And says that Arsenal has already activated options to replace Thomas Partey with another player, that is Norgard. Talks ongoing with Brentford.
I also have another one here, and a very interesting one, by the way. It's coming from Up Arsenal 04. Thomas Partey made Real Madrid look like Tottenham home and away. One of the best players we've had in the last 20 years. Hope we do not regret this. Arsenal, hope you don't regret this.
So that is it for you for sports. Let's still continue with what is trending. Yesterday, President John Dramani Mahama met Bill Gates. Has been making the news and all that. But what exactly is the meeting all about? On the president's tweeted, or the message that came out says that I had a productive discussion with Bill Gates this afternoon at Brussels ahead of the Gavi Vaccine Alliance pledging session. Our discussion focused on Ghana's vital interventions in the health sector. We covered key topics including the significant progress on free primary health care program, the ongoing work of the National Vaccine Institute, and the impact of uncapping the National Health Insurance, that is the NHI's fund, to improve healthcare access and funding, among other things. I thank Mr. Gates and the Gates Foundation for their extensive philanthropic work in Ghana and their crucial contribution to the Gavi Vaccine Alliance. I also met with the Gavi board chair, Jose Manuel Barroso, who expressed gratitude for my consistent support for Gavi's vital vaccine replenishment efforts. Supporting an organization that is doing such crucial work for global health is always a pleasure. Just read a few of what the president has tweeted, or the message that came out. We are all praying that that meeting is going to bear fruits, and issues relating to vaccines and all that will be a thing of the past. So that is it. You have other tweets on that?
Yeah, we have actually some tweets on that, and everything is just relating or just stating that the president met with Bill Gates. The same thing all over. And yeah, there are some, I don't know how true these tweets are, but like I said, everything we read is coming from social media. So yeah, just be on the line. Don't
we are just giving you what is on social media, especially.
So we have one here that says Bill Gates is meeting with President Mahama and has promised to invest $20 million in Ghana's tech industry due to Mahama's exceptional leadership. Abang Papa Abba.
Abang Papa Abba. So 3 days ago or yesterday, we saw some pictures making rounds.
Yeah.
Say the same-sex marriage or whatever it is, and
same-sex couple. It was actually yesterday, not 3 days ago. Yesterday it blew up. Yeah.
And they were at the Black Star Square, they stood beneath the Freedom Tower, took some pictures, went to Abri Gardens, went to other places to participate and all that. But, you know, Sam George was tagged a lot, asking, because you have been pushing the family value bills and all that in the floor of Parliament. So Sam George has reacted. He says that I have just returned to Accra from Ho in the Volta region, where I attended the climax of a successful Girls in ICT program. I have seen numerous tags and posts about the abhorrent disrespect of our cultural and values by two, well, I wouldn't want to use this word, individuals. The disrespect of our national symbols is despicable, to say the least. However, I am shocked to see apologists of the new patriotic party, that is the NPP, calling me and demanding action. What a shameless lot. We are where we are today without the strict legislation on these ills, because former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had failed to and blatantly refused to sign the Family Value Bill into law after Parliament of Ghana and the court had cleared the bill. So he went on and on and on and stated that, well, the bill has been reintroduced again on the floor of Parliament, or resubmitted on the floor of Parliament, and he's hoping that this current administration will take the charge. But that is the reaction from Sam George on this particular issue, among other things. So we are just looking at what Sam George is going to do on the floor of Parliament, because for me, when I saw the pictures, I was like, whoa. Well, I'm not supposed to say a lot about this, but when I saw the pictures, I was like, Sam George is really going to react on this, and definitely he has.
Well, I wouldn't want to sound anyway, but I just think that the whole reaction from everybody mostly stemmed from the fact that these were monumental places in Ghana. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's more like you are trying to provoke the people. I mean, like we said,
you understand, you're from South Africa.
Yeah, and you can do whatever you want to do in your dark, but you know.
Maybe we just leave it at that and see what the authorities will do about this. But see, before we go on our next one, let's bring you the video of the day. Minister of the enjoyment, it's a continental, monumental, go live forever, Minister of the enjoyment, it's a continental, monumental, go live forever, it's a continental, monumental, go live forever.
It's my mood for the end of the year.
For the end of the year.
I'm like calling on that mood.
Is that a rabbit or what?
You see, that's why we don't eat rabbits. Didn't it just make you happy right now?
No, but then again, a rabbit is having
God.
fun. That's grapes, I think.
Yeah.
So,
he's paying no bills. He has no problem. He's not thinking about water bill. He's not thinking about ECG. He's not thinking about fuel prices. He's not thinking about anything. He's not thinking about waking up in the morning to come and talk to the audience. He's just enjoying it.
Enjoying himself, man. Anyway, so that is the video of the day for you. But I'm sure that you've missed this part of the show, the segment where we visit communities and bring you concerns and issues within communities, because of the business month, that is the business festival month, so we weren't able to bring you some of these things. But today, we are going to the Savannah region and bring you a situation there, especially in Iyape. We are touching on everything: roads, health, education, whatever it is. Right. But today, let's focus on education in that area. So there is a school, the Xavier JHS, grappling with overcrowding and poor infrastructure. Let's bring you this report after we have a conversation on it.
The headmaster of the school expressed concern over the situation. He explained that a classroom originally designed to hold 45 students now accommodates as many as 83, making effective teaching and learning extremely difficult.
we have about 3-4 sitting on one desk. So we are forced to arrange other materials or other items for them to be able to get themselves seated and able to listen. We are suggesting, or we are pleading, that if the authority that be could provide us another block, another 3 classroom block, that will help us to be able to ease the situation.
Edie Camille, the Assembly Member for the Yape electoral area and presiding member for the Central Gonja District, also acknowledged the issue. He noted that not only are the classrooms too small, but they also lack basic furniture. However, he commended the Parents Teachers Association for their continued support in addressing some of the school's challenges.
In fact, the PTA of this school are doing so well. They are supporting the school. Hadn't it been so, maybe we would have come here and wouldn't get furniture at all. And so we are calling on any organization that can come to support this school should do it, and do it now.
Some students who spoke to Channel 1 News appealed to the government and relevant stakeholders for assistance. They said learning in such congested classrooms, especially during hot weather, is both uncomfortable and demoralizing.
We have insufficient chairs. When during studies, we find it difficult to concentrate on the teacher because we would like 4 or 3 students will be sitting on one chair, and you will not be comfortable on sitting on the chair. And during this, the students they will not be concentrating on what the teacher is teaching.
And of course, the issues within the education sector is enormous, and this is the list we can do here on Channel 1 TV to put a spotlight on these issues so that the various authorities can deal with it. But let's speak to our correspondent Malik Ghazari, who is in the Savannah region and went to this particular institution to bring us what is happening there. Malik, good morning.
Good morning, Philip.
I trust you are doing well.
By His grace.
The last time we spoke, we had a conversation about a school that didn't have furniture. That was for the basic level. Today we are talking about JHS. Is it to do with the GSS 1 to 3 or just a particular class?
Yes, the situation at St. Francis Xavier Junior High in Yape has only one block, which comprises of GHS 1, 2, and 3, and all these classes face this challenge.
So, per your report and the investigation you have done, or whatever you know, how many students are in each class?
Yes, per the headmaster of the school, where we interacted with him, he said that they are supposed to accommodate 45 in a class, but now they are being compelled to accommodate 83 due to the lack of space and also lack of furniture in the classroom.
Twice the number, almost twice the number they are accommodated. And for how long has this persisted?
Yes, he said that it has been in existence for some time now, but he didn't actually give us the duration or the period of years that they've been struggling with this situation.
All right, so since it has been there for some years now, what have they done about it?
Yes, he said, speaking with him and the assembly member, they said that the PTA, the Parents Teachers Association, came in to help with some few furniture for the students. But the issue pertaining to the overcrowding is that the classroom, the nature of the classroom is very small, and which they are appealing to the stakeholders to get them additional block, if they can get them additional block, at least for them to have A and B.
Right. And clearly, when you look at the whole building of the school, like how many classes do they have in there?
Classroom is spatial.
Sorry, I think we lost you there. Can you repeat what you said?
Yes. The headmaster and the PTA said that what they need now is an additional block so that they can split the students into two, A and B, so that they both A and B, there will be more space in the classroom, which will be conducive for both the teachers and the students to have a very serene environment to study.
Okay, so but when you look at it, is it just like a certain class that has the number of people, or the whole school has that amount of, you know, congestion, or it's just a certain class or certain classes?
Yeah, it's just the situation involves from the junior high 1 to junior high 3, and currently, as we are even speaking, the junior high level 3, they have just written their final exams. So that sometimes when it comes to this stage, they usually rely on this short period, split some of the students, if possible, the junior high 2, split them into the junior high 3 for this short period. Then when the within the next academic year, when they move to their normal class, that's the junior high 3, that's where the overcrowding comes again. So with this, that even where the teacher should stand and even teach the students is always a problem due to the lack of space.
Okay, I understand the issue of the lack of space, but now I just want to ask, like, is it like this school is like one of the best schools, that's why we have an overflow of students?
Yes, this school is one of the schools, students and the children within the Yape community, most of them feel like have interest in attending. That's after their basic, most of them normally goes there to write the entrance exams. And speaking to some stakeholders off camera and off record, they said that with that when the students write the entrance exams and they pass, you know, they normally pace their results. So the school is compelled to accommodate all, because I've written the exams, the entrance exams, I've passed. So you have no reason why you deny me the admission to the school. So they have no other option than to accommodate all the applicants who have passed to the level junior high level 1. So which normally causes the overcrowding.
You made mention of the fact that the headmaster of the institution has had a conversation with the various authorities, and this has been there for a very long time. Did he tell you what actions they say they would take to remedy the situation?
Actually, he didn't reveal such actions or resolutions to us when we got there, but he only said that they've made attempts speaking with authorities, but with the resolution or the possible.
Well, Gazara's line keeps breaking. Okay, so
hello.
Yeah, so we're asking you what measures are being taken by the authorities to address this problem if the headmaster has been engaging the authorities for a very long time.
Yes, the headmaster didn't reveal the resolution or the resolution of the problem to Channel 1 News when we visited there. He only said that they've laid a complaint to the stakeholders and authorities, and they are hoping to get a positive result. But they didn't open up to tell us what the results are or the resolutions are.
Well, I wish we had the headmaster to speak to, so that he give us better details on it. But before we speak to the assembly member of the area, we've seen that some of the students are sitting on blocks and all that. Is that like that from JHS 1 to JHS 3? Because some, not all.
Yes. With the JHS 1, when we went there, this was the nature of them sitting or most of them sitting on woods. Let me just say, they improvised. They went in for improvised blocks and placed plywood on it just to have access to education.
Well, Malik, just hang on there. Just stay, stand by for us as we speak to the Assemblyman for Yape electoral area, Idi Kamal or Camille. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Is your name Kamal or Camille?
It's Camille.
Camille, okay, good.
Yeah.
So we are looking at what is happening at the St. Francis Xavier JHS school in Yape. For how long has this school been in existence?
And so the Francis Xavier JHS, hello.
Okay, so we can hear you, so you can go ahead.
Yes. So the Francis Xavier JHS is a Catholic school. Initially, they started with a primary school as a private, and later on, government adopted the school, and now they have a junior high school around 2016 thereabouts.
Are you close to a TV set or something? Because we are getting feedback here. Are you close to a TV set?
I'm in the room, but
Come again.
All right. Is it okay?
Yeah, if you are, maybe you would want to mute the TV or reduce the volume totally
It's
so that.
off. It's
oh,
off.
okay,
It's
fine.
off. We are having lights out.
Oh, two troubles, one God. Let's we will talk about the lighthouse situation, but let's talk about this first. So you were talking about the existence of the school when it was.
The Francis Xavier JHS. Initially, it started with a primary school owned by the Catholic Church, and then later on, government came in and adopted it and made it a government school. And so, around 20.
Well, we'll have to get back to the assembly member for the Yape electoral area as we have a conversation on the St. Francis Xavier JHS school that currently some of the students are sitting on woods to study to study, and also the issue of overcrowding is also a very big problem. I think we still have Gazari on the line. Let's have further conversation on that. Malik, in this particular school, for how long will you say that the authorities have been following up on this issue? Because if you say it's been there for a very long time, per what you have gathered, is there a constant follow-up, or is like we've said it, we've told the authorities, and that is it, you just leave it at that?
Yes, with the head teacher and the assembly member, they said that when they informed some of the stakeholders, most especially the PTA, that's the Parent Teachers Association, that the Parent Teachers Association came in and helped them with some few furniture, which they are still managing for now, which is not yet enough to resolve the problem.
It looks like the
and now, not only the
go ahead.
Not only the classrooms and overcrowding, that they also lack an ICT lab.
Wow.
Where we are now in the 21st century, where students are supposed to have access to information technology communication, still they don't have access to it. And even students are compelled to write BEC on this subject. That is the ICT. So sometimes that they find it very difficult. Some teachers normally are being compelled to bring their laptops to let the students have access to one after the other, which normally delays time, which also chip into the other period, which the other subject period. So with this, that when they have ICT, when they have ICT, it's considered that the next 2 or 3 periods are considered that the whole of that day they wouldn't have those periods. They will only concentrate due to the one accessibility of just one computer or one laptop that they all have to have a handful of it.
It looks like the issues in this area is
That's a lot.
enormous, a lot on education and all that. This school we are talking about, is that the same school we spoke about the last time concerning the children sitting on the floor to study?
No.
That one was Presby Primary.
So that means Yape area and Kacha, they have big problem. Yeah, they have a big problem. So let's speak to, just hold on for us. Let's speak to Camille, who is back on the line. Good morning again.
Yeah, good morning.
Now we have a better line. So I was asking you that per the existence of the school, for how long has this challenge been there? Our reporter is saying that for a very long time, but you were telling us where the school has been, how the transition has been and all that, and how the issues will be addressed. But if you can take us through again.
Yes, so I was saying that initially the school started as a private school owned by the Catholic Church.
It looks like today we're having a big challenge with your line. I don't know, maybe...
but I hope it's better now.
It's better now. So let's go ahead. So you were saying something.
Yes, it's owned by the Catholic Church, and then later on, government adopted the school, made it a government school. So the JHS was built around 2014, 2015, thereabouts, and the school has been progressing very well. It has become one of the best junior high schools within the district. And so because of that, over time, the enrollment in the school keeps increasing. But the design of the school block itself was for a certain number of students, meaning the classrooms were very, very small. But as at now, my last check with Basic 7 has about 85 students. So we have people sending their children from different communities to stay in Yape and attend this school. And so enrollment in that school keeps increasing. And it is not in line with the structure of the school itself. So the number of students outnumber the facilities available in that school, which is now making teaching and learning very, very difficult. And so the available textbooks, the available furniture, the number of teachers in the school and all that. So the resources there are being overstretched. Currently, as we speak, the classrooms from Basic 7, Basic 8, and Basic 9, they are all full. And in the next academic year, there will be admissions. And so instead of a dual deck where 2 students are supposed to sit on it, sometimes 3 or 4 students sit on this dual deck, making learning uncomfortable. So what we are suggesting is that perhaps if the government could come in and then build another block in addition to the existing block, where the students can be put into 2 groups, say Block A and Block B of the Francis Xavier JHS. I think that will reduce the congestion that is being experienced currently in the classrooms at the Francis Xavier JHS. As we speak, they are having a teachers' quarters problem, but the church itself has come in. They have built a new teachers' quarters. Very soon we shall be commissioning it because it's just left with electrification, extension of dropping of a service from the electric pole to the new block itself. That is what is left. So the challenges there are enormous, but I see that it's natural for many people to draw their kids to that school because of the performance that the school is having. Hello.
Wow, and this is a public institution. This is a public school.
Yes, it's a public school.
But why can't the agenda be that the performance of other public schools in the area should also be good, so that there can be some sort of decongestion? Or first of all, let me ask you, how many public schools like St. Francis are there in the Yape area?
So within the Yape community itself, we have about 4 junior high schools within the Yape community. But this particular school over the past few years has emerged as one of the best performing schools, not only within the community, but within the entire district. And so naturally, people are drawn to, when it's time for admissions of students, many students would like to attend this school. And perhaps maybe in the meantime, if there's no structure being put in place, then they have to reduce the number of students that they admit as freshers within the basic 7, because that will be the only way that they can reduce the numbers. In doing so, they might deny some kids who have interest to attend this school. That's one. Two, because it is also a Catholic school, parents who are Catholic or who are within the Christian religion would like their children to also attend this school, which is in line with their faith. And so that's one of the issues why some of the kids mostly would like to go to this school. And so for me, as an assembly member for the area, I am advocating that if maybe my assembly or the government or philanthropy or even the church, the Catholic mission itself can come in to support once again, so that we'll have a new block that will build in addition to the existing block, so that we can have a block A of the Xavier JHS and then block B of the Francis Xavier JHS. Perhaps this will be one way of resolving that classroom problem. As we speak, like I said earlier on, there's a disparity when you are considering the students, the student population, and the population of textbooks within the school. There's a disparity with furniture. There's a disparity. In fact, teachers who initially were teaching 30 students in a class, who can give them exercises on time, mark them on time, and all that, now have to deal with 85 students to 90 students in one class, which is now very difficult, meaning their efficiency will also reduce. It will have an impact on the efficiency of the teachers when they will be able to give them exercises and mark them on time. That wouldn't be the norm again as they used to do. And so I'm afraid if this challenge will have an effect on the performance of the school, which we as a community will not like that to happen. And so currently, as we speak, the teachers, they don't have a staff common room. They have a tree there that they have just cemented around the tree, and that's where the teachers sit. As at now, it is raining. So I believe maybe when you go to the school, the teacher will be seated within the classroom, or they'll all be inside storeroom, which is not good. So a school that is very prominent and showing a brighter future should be given the necessary facilities and available the necessary facilities in order to thrive, to help our kids within our area to become the better people that they want to be in future.
Right. That's very key. That's a very key thing to say, especially for the fact that you said that it's important to support a school that is doing very well and churning out best students. But I just want to ask you, don't you think it's important for the whole attention to be decentralized from this school alone, and then look into other schools and find out what is the problems? Why are they not matching up to, so there can be, equal, distribution of students?
Yes, I agree with you. So what I said doesn't mean that the other schools are doing bad. No, the other schools have been in existence for a very long time. For instance, the Yape Presby JHS was the only school that was within this area. The whole traditional area here was the Yape Presby JHS, and we have prominent people who have attended this school. The current NIB Dr. Doliwura Tanko, he attended this school. We have Dr. Mahama and so many other people, prominent, who are serving in different capacities in the country as of now, all attended the Yape Presby JHS, the Yape GA JHS as well. We have many prominent people who have attended this school. The Amanfu GHS is a new junior high school. It's not been long, some less than 10 years now, but they are also doing well. So I'm not saying that the other schools are doing so bad, but I'm just saying that the Francis Xavier JHS happens to be a school that is doing extremely well, that even within the entire district is being recognized as one of the best schools that we have. And so if we want an equal distribution or fairly where students would like to attend all the schools within the community, especially the junior high schools, then we should make the available facilities to these schools. As we are talking, I must admit that all the schools, the junior high schools in Yape, are having the furniture challenge. None of them is having an ICT lab. None of them is. It's only one school, the Presby JHS, that is now having an ICT lab and then a library. And that one has even been done by a former student. So 2 years ago, that a former student who attended it came and did it for the school. And so it's currently with Royal, one of their top managers there. So these schools are also doing well. But in recent times, in our current generation, Francis Xavier JHS is on top. Wow. And I wouldn't, as a stakeholder in the community, I wouldn't want that performance to come down. I want us to sustain it by making sure that we provide the available facilities that they need to keep being on top to this school so that they'll continue to perform. I must commend the head teacher and then his staff for the wonderful work that they are doing there. I must also commend the Catholic Church for the support that they are giving to this school. There's discipline in the school. There are a lot of positives that we can talk about that school. But these challenges are things that I fear might affect the positives that we are gaining as at now.
But as the assembly member for the area, have you followed up with the demands that the school is making? For instance, what the district education wants to do about it, or what the government is actually doing to address these concerns? Because you just made mention of the fact that in the Yape electoral area or in the area itself, almost all the schools have furniture problem.
Yes, almost all the schools are having furniture problem. And in fact, like I said the other time, I'm the presiding member for the Central Gonja, and I do know for a fact that many schools within the Central Gonja district are having this challenge, furniture challenge. And as a district, we are just pushing to see how we'll be able to get more furniture year in, year out for the schools. So it is not peculiar to only the schools within Yape alone, but the entire district is having this challenge around. I've made reports to the Education Directorate within the district. I've made a report as the representative of the electoral areas. I've raised these issues at the Assembly. It is something that has been part of our resolution at the. And so one of the challenges that the Assembly is also facing is finances. So when there are no finances, they will not be able to do this. That's why sometimes we don't want to rely only on the Assembly, but we also call on other stakeholders, agencies, philanthropists, religious bodies, those who can come in and support. We really need their support in order to solve these problems, to make sure that our community become a better place.
Good. Now let's look at the solutions. Should you be asked as the assembly member for the area how many desks you need, what will be your response?
Pardon?
Should you be asked as the assembly member for the Yape electoral area how many desks you need to resolve the issue, what will be your response?
Well, if I'm going to consider the schools around my electoral area, then we'll be needing a lot. Because
will you want to put a figure to it? Because if a benevolent person or an institution is watching, so that they will know how many desks we will have to provide the Yape electoral area or say St. Francis Xavier School. So maybe we are giving you a blank check. How many desks do you need?
So with the blank check, I will look at the entire electoral area where I have about 8 basic schools, and so with that, I'm looking at around 500 dual desks.
Right.
500 dual desks
to solve the furniture problem within the electoral area. So we have the primary school, about 4 primary schools and 4 junior high schools within Yape itself. And so if we are able to get this number of dual desks, we're able to solve this problem, and then maybe we can see how we will face other challenges within the community.
Okay, so the assemblyman is making, he made mention of 500 dual desks for schools that do not have the needed furniture in Yape electoral area. But other question
I must also add that
good.
The Yape itself is a center where other schools around our area, they come to write the BEC exam. And so just this past few weeks when the BEC exams was being conducted, we were facing that problem. We have to close down other primary schools and take furniture from those primary schools to come and augment the numbers at the BEC center for students to get furniture to sit and write the exam. And so normally during BEC time, instead of the primary schools to be in session, they have to close for a whole week because there's no enough furniture at the junior high schools where the exams take place for the students to use. So we just have to close down the primary schools, take their furniture, transport them to the junior high schools to augment the numbers, and then they can write the exam. Afterwards, then they'll all resume back, which I think also affect the academic calendar within the primary school, so which is not supposed to be so. But if we are able to solve this problem, I think the junior high schools will have enough desks so that anytime the BC exam is in session, we'll have enough furniture to be able to use for this exercise.
And also with the classroom blocks, because you're looking at decongesting the classrooms, how many blocks will be needed in addition to what is already there?
Yes, so at the Francis Xavier JHS, if we get a 3-unit classroom block with an office and teachers' common room and then a storeroom, I think this will help.
Thank you so much, the assembly member for Yape electoral area. And Edie, we are grateful that at least you've shared your thoughts on this issue, and he has made mention of what they need. They need about 500 desks, dual desks, in the Yape electoral area as a matter of urgency, so they can resolve the issue of congestion in the various classrooms, and also specifically for the St. Francis Xavier JHS, they need a 3-classroom unit block. Yes, so that they can be able to address that same problem. We here, we would say, but we expect that at least some action will be taken. If there are institutions around that they would be able to get the issues resolved, it should be done immediately, because I always say that education is very important. Just not long ago, we had BEC candidates completed their examination, and if you should be sitting in a classroom that you are not so comfortable in, and how teaching and learning is going to be very difficult, you are expected to write exams with your peers in the bigger cities. Some of the schools, even the students sit in air-conditioned, fully air-conditioned room, and they are studying. And someone was saying that the environment in which you find yourself determines whatever you are going to consume or whatever you are going to grasp. You understand? So there are bigger schools in, say, the cities. When you come to the city, you really want to give prominence to the institution in Accra or in Kumasi or in Takoradi or something. But all these students, they need the convenience. They need an atmosphere that can aid teaching and learning. And even imagine that you are in this same class, and as a teacher, you don't even have where to even stand to teach the students. When you are going to the classroom, you are even concerned, because looking at the fact that ideally you are supposed to teach students, say 45 in a classroom, and it's now been doubled to 85. The marking, the attention, you will just be asking students, do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you understand? Yes, sir. You say it in a local dialect, Motias here, then someone would say, no, you understand. So the attention, you are not really getting the teacher-student connection there. So I think something should be looked at. There are a number of teachers in this country. People are going to colleges of education, learning and all that. But when it comes to employment, it's also a bigger issue. When it comes to their salaries, it's a bigger issue. Now, when it comes to classrooms that they're supposed to teach you, it's another problem. The infrastructure, we have too many problems.
And one thing I've realized about this community, because before we even spoke to the assemblyman, just analyzing the video, I realized that, look, the kids want to learn.
Yeah, they really they do. Yeah,
they want
to be in school.
In as much as it's very inconveniencing, they really want to be in school, because if you look at the school, if you look at the whole structure and the whole problem that we're talking about, it's an overflow of students in one little class, but they are still coming to school. This can actually deter someone from not coming to school, but they're still going to school.
Because a dual desk ideally takes 2 students, but from what we can see on the screen, are sitting on a dual desk and it's taking 4. You understand? It's a big problem. And the MP for the area, the energy minister, I know you have a big problem. You have a lot of things on your hands, but as the representative of that particular area, please try and get issues addressed. You would have wished to speak to the MC, the DC for the area, the Central Gonja, Mahama Hussein, who has been giving his word every now and then. We know that he's going to do something.
The last time he delivered. He delivered.
Yeah, so we are just praying that this time round he would really deliver and see what he would do about it. But that's it. We know you've missed this side of the program. You've missed this side of the show. We really want to take it out entirely. So we'll still be coming to a community close to you on our next edition. But for now,
it's time for us to check out the City Business Festival on a series. And like I told you earlier, today we are going to be looking at Africa's place in the AI revolution. So enjoy. We'll be back.
Two wrongs is a problem. So 2 wrongs is problem.
Yes.
So once there are 2 wrongs, then there's a problem.
Yes.
If wishes were horses,
beggars may rise.
And what?
Beggars may rise.
Oh my God! If wishes were horses, beggars.
Don't beg.
Pardon?
Don't beg.
If wishes were horses, beggars
Won't ride.
Huh?
Beggars won't ride.
If wishes were horses, then beggars will.
The beggars also was horses. The beggars also were horses.
Say that again. So if wishes were horses, beggars.
The beggars was horses. The beggars was horses.
That'd be deep. That'd be deep.
When the stars come out, Ghana Weekend turns up the lights. From the hottest red carpet moments to the wildest after parties. And for all your celebrations, anniversaries, and unforgettable moments, if it's happening, we're there. First, fast, and fabulously.
Your front row pass to Ghana's A-list lifestyle is just a click or a channel away. GhanaWeekend.com and Ghana Weekend TV, where fame meets the fans. Promote your next big event with us, because when you party with the stars, the whole nation of Black Stars should know. Visit GhanaWeekend.com, watch and subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube. Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle at GhanaWeekend.com, on X at Ghana Weekend, on TikTok, Ghana Weekend, and on Facebook at Ghana Weekend. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, all access, all glam, all yours.
Hello there, welcome to the final episode of the final week of the City Business Festival 2025. It has been a week where we have been talking and discussing technology and the digital economy, and today happens to be the very last leg of it. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout this whole month of June, talking about how to grow businesses sustainably. Today we are coming your way with the last conversation on the space of Africa, or Africa's space, if you like, in the AI revolution. I have a very interesting guest for you today, and if you join me after I come back from this particular break, I'll tell you who my guest is and what the topic for discussion is as well. I am me, Lati. Welcome to the program.
She's coming. She's coming.
Oh, it's in. Red Hour Recito!
Boss, let's go back.
Here, take this.
She's coming.
I know. Go to the pharmacy now.
She's coming. Oh. She's here.
Pay faster, pay safer, and pay easy with Momo app. Download now and pay with the QR code, merchant ID, and so much more.
Hello again, and thank you for joining us for this particular episode. And you know, as always, the 2025 edition of the City Business Festival is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV. We are sponsored by Absa Bank Ghana Limited, Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, as well as MTN Business. Just as I mentioned today, we are looking at the role of Africa, or if you like, the position of Africa when it comes to AI revolution. My guest is a man of many parts. He's into industry, he's into business, he's into technology. In fact, he's also into academia, writing. And you may find very interesting the fact that he's written something along the topic for today's discussion. Dr. Stefan Imoli is my guest today on the City Business Festival on the series right here on 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV. Doc, thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I was going through your profile. I can realize that you are a very big man. You are into academia, you are into industry, you are into technology. Just explain to us, who is Dr. Stefan Imoli?
Yeah, so I am the CEO of Impuntu Technologies, and since it's founded, I've been the CEO, and we are a technology firm trying to democratize the power of AI for many organizations to use. And as part of what I do also, I work with AGI. I'm the chairman of the ICT sector, trying to formulate policies for the industry to ensure that we put the right pressure on government for policy formulation. And on one of the places that I love to be most is into academia. I work with Assessee. I'm an adjunct lecturer in Assessee.
What do you teach there?
So there are many courses that depend on the semester. Databases, I've taught cybersecurity, I've taught systems analysis and design and project management. Depending on the semester, the courses are available. I'm able to do that. So I've been doing that for the past 8 years.
Indeed. 8 years?
Yeah.
Almost a decade?
Yes. Yeah.
I see. So how long have you been running in Punto Technology?
So in Punto will be 9 years this year in November. So that's
just a year before you started.
Exactly.
And you have been writing as well.
Yeah, I've been writing. I'm trying to push the story of AI in industry. I think AI has been something that's been existent for a long time. As children, we were playing games. Even when I was doing my first degree, I did AI. Today it's prevalent, and there are conversations around that. So we are trying to see how do we practicalize AI in our daily affairs. So that's the right things that I've been putting across.
So is that AI article your latest publication?
So there's one that I've just done, right? So but that's one of the places I wanted to set the tone for industry to be able to take advantage of.
I see. So what was the the article about? What was the title? Are you able to shed light on exactly the message you were trying to put across?
So it was to look at Africa's position in the AI revolution. Right. You see, one of the things we should note is that by 2030, right, what is going to happen is that Africa, the youth population of Africa, is going to contribute about 42%. And that is to say that by 2030, the new skill sets that will be needed. And today, AI is one of the conversations that is happening. And a lot of people are talking about how AI is going to take jobs, how it's going to augment jobs and all that. It means there's a need to be able to be intentional in how do we have those kind of conversations. And those articles I've been writing is around all those ones. What we have been doing in the past time is that during the start of our company, we tried to push the concept of AI, and at the time when we were pushing it, a lot of people were confusing what artificial intelligence and business intelligence was. So they kept saying that we're already using those kind of tools. And I had worked in MTN for a long time, and my last role was an OSS engineer, and as an engineer, we were providing data for the organization and all that. I knew a lot of AI were not being utilized, but there was that confusion. And my job was to see how do I now set the tone. So my PhD work started from that in big data and all that.
So from what you say, it means that you started working on AI tools and the whole landscape when it comes to artificial intelligence way back, even before most of us came to realize that there was something like that in the industry, because you studied it in school and you have been doing some work in the past. And so if you say that by 2030 a lot of attention will shift towards AI, and just yesterday when I was talking to Maximus, he told me that in the next 5 years one of the biggest things to ever happen to us will be the adoption and also the use of artificial intelligence. Is this an assertion you agree with?
Yeah, I agree. See, AI, a lot of research has been going on for a long time. Today, computing power has changed. There's internet conversations have also changed the way it is. So we just had the tip of the iceberg. So I agree with him that in the next 5 years, the usage of AI will change. Today, as I was even coming here, one of the research that I was doing was through the power of AI. I was making more research using AI. This has really transformed our daily life, right? So I tend to agree with him.
Indeed. And so what is, Africa's position when it comes to, this whole global AI revolution? Are we into it? Is it a game changer for us, or we are just consuming it, or just at the frontiers of it?
So that is what I sought to achieve in my article. So you see, this is the position that I have taken. You see, the whole conversation, there's been several revolutions, and Africa only started consuming, or we allowed things to pass and we consumed them. But this is a conversation that everybody is trying to take a position. So what I'm saying that, look, if you look at what is happening in the United States, there's over $500 billion that is being pushed in this AI conversation through the partnership on the private sector and the public sector. The European market is also trying to push over 100 billion, right? The Middle East and the Asian market is also trying to do all those ones. What is Africa saying? All we are trying to do is try to be able to part of using all these kind of things. The position that we have taken, and as our company, we said that, look, how do we start the journey? And in starting the journey, there are 4 areas I have, in my opinion, as
what are these?
And the very first one is the infrastructure aspect, right? Where you are talking about the servers, the kind of GPUs that would allow you to be able to work on the AI model that you are building. The second one is the algorithm, the model itself, like what is run, like what do you see, what ChatGPT is doing, what is Claude doing, and all those ones. The third one is the data itself. The data belongs to us. Where is the data sitting and all that? And the last aspect is the training part, where I started by alluding the fact that the youth population we are going to have a 42% of that one. So that's the fourth aspect. So for Africa to take advantage of all these things, is to be able to understand where do we play a role. The infrastructure side, because of the investment that is needed for all these things, we might not be able to invest so much. We can rely on the services of what Google Cloud is doing, Amazon, and all these organizations are doing. For now, we can start there. But also government can play a role in trying to make sure that these data centers are put there because of data sovereignty and all that. But we can start from somewhere. The second aspect, which is the model creation, it will surprise you to know that 8 years ago, we started our own AI model. And we had launched it before ChatGPT. Indeed. Yes, it was called Snowly. That's what it says. So if you go to YouTube, you see the year that it was launched and all that one. We have started these models. But fortunately for us, because of open sources have come, we need to adapt new ones. So Africa's position is that because there's a closed source and there's an open source, we can take advantage of what the open source is. And then we have extended our model to be more efficient. The third part which I've been talking about, which is the data aspect. The data belongs to us. Africa is communal, we are religious, we are tribal, we have certain kind of nuances that is different from the biases that exist in the world. So if we do not train our own data to make meaning of what we are saying, we are going to rely on those biases and inherit all those kind of biases. So Africa's position is to look at the model and train it with the kind of data that we have. And the fourth aspect is the youth population that I'm talking about. How do we make sure that we empower the youth? We train them in such a way that is fine. So for example, in our organization, what we have done is that every year we are taking over 1,200 students and trying to label this one to fit the culture. So if you say, I'm going to come, normally it means that the person will be late by 30 minutes or 40 minutes. That might be an African nuance. So I'm coming and you see the person going. So these models must be trained, but you need people to rightly label the data in the way that we want. So that's the position.
A very fantastic point you raised. In the 4 areas, according to you, are the game changers. So infrastructure, algorithm, data, as well as training. Correct. In there, you're also talking about the difference between the open and closed sources, the biases in there. I want us to divide it into 2 and talk about them one after the other. But what's the missing link in all of these that we put together in terms for Africa? Is it money? Is it mindset? Or is it something that we have to do when it comes to policy implementation?
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of almost all of them and many other things that our research would contain. So, for example, I think that the environment is such that we have the capabilities of doing. For example, when you come to the area of training, you have universities like Access University. Access University is starting a new course called Intelligence System with a master's program. So the environment is being created. So a lot of the people are playing a role in that ecosystem. So it is not necessarily the money. You have industry like Access trying to take a lead in this particular area. The area of policy, advocacy, and all those ones. I think that the government understands where we are, right? But I think there should be more conversation. How do they collaborate with the private sector to be able to do all these things? The money plays a role because you need a lot of the data centers to be sure that it works. And that one is very difficult for our SME sector because Ghana is more of an SME-based center. Government can play a role and create that data center conducive for us to be able to run that. That's where the money comes in. For the model, because we'll be training a lot of people and we have the capabilities of doing that one, we have demonstrated that capability, especially from what Impuntu is doing as well.
I see. But you also talk about, this whole open and closed sources of AI. And you can also admit that there is also a growing divide between the two, areas. And so if I ask you where Africa should be aligning towards, where would that be? And what are the pros and cons, if you like, for each of these elements? If you can explain that for me.
Yeah, for the closed, systems like ChatGPT, they are closed. They will not open it up for you to be able to utilize that. Like Claude also making it, their models, some of them they are making it open source, some of them is closed source because of commercial benefits. I think for Africa, we need to be able to have our own model, right? Because there have been open sources that are there. We can inherit all those open source data, right? And now train it on that kind of data. Can you imagine if you allow your data to go on this closed sources? It means it's your data that the sovereignty of the country that you are allowing to be able to you are exporting all these kind of things. You want to be able to keep privacy, sovereignty of all those kind of data. That is the risk in adapting the closed source. Most organizations are even preventing their staff from using this closed sources because they feel that the data that is being used, they are exporting that to other organizations. So my hope is that organizations would adapt their own model, and especially models that are done in the African context, or maybe and they inherit it in their industry, where now they train the data on their model itself. In that case, it allows you to be able to keep the privacy and the sovereignty of your data, and that is what we have been doing for most of the.
So, what's the danger in there if we choose to adopt our own local data sets? What are the risks?
Yeah, it means that you'll not be able to have the knowledge that you want. Every knowledge that you are having is going to be knowledge that is biased biased towards the foreign models.
I see. We'll be going on a quick commercial break right about now, but before we do that, which areas in the SME landscape do you see, taking full advantage of AI automation or augmentation, if you like, and which areas have a lot more of prospects which they are not tapping into?
Okay. So one of the things that we at Impuntu have done, because we know that the Ghanaian market is more SME based, we have taken advantage of those who are doing sales, the e-commerce platform. So somebody is on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, and they are making a lot of sales. And because of fraudulent activities, maybe somebody is selling maybe perfume, hair, or maybe dresses, their customers make a purchase. Immediately a purchase has been made, their customers begin to complain that, have you received the money? Have you gotten it? When am I going to get the good? Maybe the vendor is going to production to get the product, but because there's a silence over a period of time, the customers begin to think that these people have defrauded them. They come back and they realize that no, it was actually a delay of production that was doing that. So what we have done is that we have built a model on our Snowly application where it is we put it online, you download it. During the download, you integrate it to all your social media platforms. And when you have downloaded it, it has seen how you have been having a chat with your customers over a period of time. It trains it, understands your nuances, the way you are communicating to them and all that. So the next time somebody comes to make fulfill the payment online, automatically it replies for you. It serves as a customer service. It speaks as if you are the person. In the event where it does not understand what the customer is saying, it will refer it to you on a certain portal that you can address to that one. It allows you now to focus on the production that you are doing. These are areas that we have brought to support the SME market, and I think some use cases are seen to be enjoying the product that we have brought up.
If you are listening to us on radio, this is 97.3 City FM. If you are watching us on television, you are watching Channel 1 TV. I am me, Lati, and this is our honor series of the City Business Festival. And I'm talking to Dr. Stefan Inole, CEO in Impuntu Technology, also an adjunct lecturer at Ashesi University, and also chairman in charge of ICT at the Association of Ghana Industries. We are talking about Africa's space in AI evolution. We have more after this. Don't go away.
My name is Lydia Safwa. I'm from Safusco Ghana Limited. I'm the managing director for the company. I'll commend MasterCard Foundation and ABSA Bank for the 10% loan for women-led businesses and agri-businesses, because this facility came in at the right time for Safusco. The facility helped us to get machinery for our detergent powder and other raw materials to help us come out with 3 products. That's the detergent powder, the African black soap, and the bleach. We're able to employ 15 youth in addition to our working force, and this has really helped boost our productivity and revenue as well. Annually, we organize the Global Hand Washing Day in schools within our vicinity. We hope to make sure that Safusco helps to combat diseases from the schools. We are trying to have volunteers within the school. Those volunteers will help make sure that the project is being sustained in the school.
You're welcome back. This is still the honor series of the 2025 edition of the City Business Festival, and this happens to be our very final episode for this year. We are talking about Africa's space in AI revolution. My guest laid in foundation and also ensure that we really appreciate how AI is going to change the economy, is going to change businesses, and even the way a manner we do things. We are shifting gears towards, how to build the AI ecosystem, not just for Ghana as a country, but also Africa as a continent. And he's into academia, so I know that he's done a lot of research. Doc, speak to me about this bit. What has your research shown in previous years when it comes to where we should channel our investment and resources into if you really want to make, AI part of the ecosystem?
Yeah, so I think the investment, it would be nice to look. I spoke about these 4 channels.
Yeah.
I'll start from the bottom line, the training.
The literal
training.
Yeah.
And I think government has already started playing a role in that aspect, trying to have a number of 1 million coders. We're having a lot of agencies talking about how they are also going to help. These are conversations that support the ecosystem. But there is more to be done.
But do you think governments and investors really appreciate the impact this is going to bring?
I think the conversation out there, we as private sectors, we are watching the space to see, because after all this training, they will need to be put into areas of jobs and all that. And I think when you hear what the minister is saying, our sector minister, he's intentional. I think he's been talking about how that will be partnership with the private sector or creating the jobs opportunity there. So we are watching. It's a bit early for us to be able to see what's going on. That is the very first phase to do. And that's where it should be done. And like I also mentioned, the university where I teach, Access University, is also playing a role in training in that particular area. And a lot more universities also are doing that area. That is a good starting point. The area of being bespoke, being intentional in ensuring that, look, how do we have the proper public-private partnership? So if you look at what the Americans did when Donald Trump took office, he invited OpenAI, the team, the developers of ChatGPT, invited them and had a conversation with them. That was a strong statement to say that, look, this is a collaborative effort that we want to put in place. If you look at what the Chinese did when DeepSeek came, it was also a lunch that was done, but a lot of people heard about that. It was a political lunch to be able to show the power of how they are adapting. When you look at what the Middle East are saying, you see their government stating how they are going to invest into this particular area. Recently, our minister mentioned about the 1 billion investment in terms of that particular space, right? My suggestion is that, look, how do we identify the people in that ecosystem and properly understand what help, like the question you're asking me like that. That place would allow this, that section would allow them to understand what we need to be able to do that. In our own small way, we have done those kind of investments, right? But government support in that space will be fine. The infrastructure side, I think it's also a place, but it might be too early now. But if they focus on investing in the proper public partnership in the area of model development and also the training, I think it's enough for us to be able to position ourselves in the African context.
And talking about the fact that we need to be intentional, we have to develop bespoke and innovative models when it comes to this whole AI adoption. I know that for us in Africa, and even per your article, I realize that a lot of Africans go with the CPU, you can correct me if I'm wrong, as compared to the globally preferred GPU. Is this a weakness, or is it something that you must really take advantage of? I don't know if my question is correct.
That's right. Yeah, you see, GPUs are expensive. Our company, we spend a lot of money, even though we are not having a lot of customers utilizing our model. We have told ourselves that we will continue to invest in that space. And when we fail, we become motivational speakers to explain to people how do you ensure that you don't invest in this particular, because those investments are done. So that is why we would always rely on some of the computation power of CPU to run it. And that's how our model also started. This is where government needs to come in to support in that particular ecosystem. But we admit that it's very expensive but the kind of data that we have is not so much that, because for example, if you take an organization like us, the kind of data that you are processing, you might not need so much of those kind of GPUs to be able to start. But as and when it is growing, then we can just move into those particular systems.
Earlier, I mentioned that we are looking at the prospects, we are looking at the challenges and the way forward. And so I want us to do a comparative analysis now and compare Africa to the rest of the world in terms of what the other countries are doing right and what you can also learn from them. What will you say are your biggest 3 barriers when it comes to AI adoption in Africa, and what are the recommendations thereof?
So for the past 3 years, I'll give thumbs up to the private sector. We've had a lot of banks who have given us opportunity to try our model on their data sets, and we are excited about the belief system that they have had in us. So, but initially the friction was like, What are you going to do with our data? What is going to happen to the data set that we have? Is it privacy control and all this kind of stuff? Yes, you will see people hiding and using ChatGPT or using Claude or using DeepSeek in their own side. But when it comes to the model that we have built and we try to bring it out, because we are a small organization, there is this kind of doubt. So we continue to explain to them that in this particular journey, there is a need of having a privacy expert. So my partner, my co-founder, we made sure that when we started this journey, we allowed her to be trained on data privacy, security, and ethics. She had to go to Queen Mary University to learn and also have a certification, CIPM, right? I don't know if it's the right certification, but this is what we've done. So we need to give them comfort in telling them that, look, we have gone through these processes ourselves. So that is the barrier. So that has been happening. So by the grace of God, we've had private sector believing in us and giving us a chance, and we've been able to use references to do for other sectors. The government, when we approach them, they're a bit laid back, and that's the challenge we are having. But we constantly push, and we believe that over a period of time, we will be able to break that barrier.
I see. One other thing that comes up anytime we talk about artificial intelligence is that countries must have specific policies or guidelines to regulate the use of it. And in the spirit of, well, AI is here to take over our jobs, when a lot of people are also saying that it's more about, work augmentation and not a total replacement. And so if government is to, adopt a policy for artificial intelligence and its use of it in many organizations and businesses, what should be some of the key considerations in the development of such a policy?
Yeah, I think, luckily enough, the government has been working on a document like that, and the minister has already mentioned that I think he's giving them a deadline to produce. I don't know the time that he's in that, and I'm happy to say that we were invited to be part of the stakeholders in terms of that.
What did you discuss?
And most of the discussion are the areas that you have raised, like where do we take advantage of, and which sectors do we have to concentrate, and what are the problems we want to be able to resolve at this area. What is our main issue? Is it service that we want to be able to do? Is it agriculture we want to do? Is it health we want to do? How are we taking advantage of privacy, security, and all that one? And how are we protecting the jobs of people? So these were the conversations in that framework.
I see. And do you think that policymakers have the commitment to see its full implementation? Because it's one thing to say that I want to develop a policy. It's another thing to implement and ensure that it really fits the purpose for which it was designed. Because you are the industry player, you're also in academia, you're also in the industry. So you are at an intersection, if you like.
Yeah, I am very hopeful, but from an AGI perspective, AGI itself, there's a tool that our president and the CEO, so one of the projects that our president and the CEO of AGI and the CEO are keenly want to launch. So we are showing the efforts in that space to make sure that we are ready for people to show. Because when you talk about the fourth industrial revolution, it talks about applying AI in manufacturing. So that's actually for our industry. So the CEO and the president wants to make sure that has been done. So what we'll do is that because we are an advocacy group, we will continue to put pressure that whatever framework that is being done, we'll put pressure on you that you should implement those kind of things, because we have demonstrated it from an AGI perspective that we are able to do these things, and all the policies that we are putting in place, we want you to implement it. So, but we are hopeful that they would implement it.
And do you think African countries must also come together and form, some form of synergies to ensure that this is realized?
So thanks to the United States. So recently we were invited for a program, for a 3-week program in the United States, on a leadership program. And one of the things that we took from that meeting was that we got some colleagues from South Africa, some from Algeria, some from Ethiopia, and some from Nigeria. And what we decided, we were doing something similar, building model like what we've done in Ubuntu. And as I said in my article, our point is to be able to merge our models and the data set that we have trained it on. How do we put it on it so that when someone wants to interact with an African, right, it understands that this is what it means, the accent, it fits all those kind of things. So that's the collaboration that we are doing. So we are starting our own small way, hoping that we'll be noticed, and now investment will go into that.
And so on that note, what excites you most when it comes to the future of AI?
The young people, right, and the way they are learning, and the way they are adapting it, and the way they want things to be where it is, and that is what excites me. And because we've already mentioned that they are the future of our workforce and all that one, and they are ready to be able to embrace this kind of technology, it excites me that we will get there.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Stefani Noli. He is CEO of Ubuntu Technology, adjunct lecturer at First University, and also chairman of in charge of ICT at the Association of Ghana Industries, wrapping up for us here on the final week of the City Business Festival 2025, a week we dedicated to technology as well as the digital economy. You know, the conversation will never end. We'll be keeping on trying as much as possible to bring you more stakeholders in the industry to help us shape this national conversation. The 2025 City Business Festival was powered by 97.3 CTFM and Channel 1 TV. We are sponsored by AgriFair Ghana Limited, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech. My name is Lati. Thank you so much for your company this whole month of June. See you next year.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ni Komete Kome, and this is powered by GhanaWeekend.com. Now to our first highlight. Ghanaian hip life pioneer Reggie Rockstone has hailed Black Sharif as a rare organic talent who deeply connects with his audience. Reacting to a viral video of Sharif's emotional top of the morning performance at the Uniland concert in Takoradi, Reggie likened him to icons like Bob Marley, Fela Kuti, and Stevie Wonder. He praised Sharif's authenticity and grassroots appeal, calling him a special kind of artist who emerges once in a generation. Now to our next highlight. Ghanaian artist Molly has stormed the Billboard Hot 100 with her viral dancehall anthem, Shake It to the Max. Produced by a Miami-based duo Bashment Sound, currently just shy of the top 40, the track has sparked a global dance challenge and racked up 7 weeks atop the US Afrobeat song chart. With remixes featuring Skillbank, Shensia, and upcoming versions with Sean Paul, Vybz Kartel, and Latin stars, the song is tipped as a top contender for summer 2025's biggest hit.
Inside and Addy just debuted on the Billboard 100 for the first time. We're at number 91. Cannot wait to see the song climb all the way to the top. So don't forget, shake it to the max. And thank you so much for all your support. Mwah.
Now to our next highlight. Ghana's Mansa World, led by Chief Moomin, will perform at the 32nd Afri-Exim Bank AMG in Abuja on June 26. The group's mix of poetry, music, and drama will celebrate Pan-African identity, spotlighting the creative arts as vital to Africa's economic and cultural progress. Now to our next highlight. Nigerian singer Omale sparked online buzz after tweeting that £10 million or $10 million could ease his depression for at least a month. While many look at it as a joke, the post shed light on his ongoing struggle with mental health, a topic he has previously addressed in songs and interviews. Fans responded with both concern and humor, with some offering financial support and others jokingly worrying they'd miss his emotionally raw music if he fully healed. Now to our last but not the least highlight. Protesters in Venice are celebrating a symbolic win after forcing Jeff Bezos and his wedding party to relocate their main celebration from the city center to a more remote venue. Activist groups like No Space for Bezos and Greenpeace condemned the billionaire's lavish wedding as a display of excess. Amidst a backdrop of over-tourism, climate concerns, and growing anti-elite sentiment, city officials defended the event's economic benefits, but activists insist Venice is becoming a billionaire's playground instead of a living city. Now let's check out Channel 1 TV's Top 10 Countdown.
This is the Channel 1 Countdown.
Shoulder, one side, shoulder. Chunima, best effort.
Number 8.
Wanna travel how to drip better. Wanna mama down the go getter. Wanna mama who's a rapper to me mama more.
Number 7.
You lost the good ones, the good
Number 6. Number 5.
I never want to share my girl. You know make I carry your love. You never me say love.
Number 4.
I didn't watch it, but when I'm in shit. I didn't watch it, just me so me pay. A day.
Number 3.
What a bomb, baby, my taste. What a bomb, baby, my grace. Oh, it's a maze. Telling me what a man go do. Everybody wants
Number 2.
Take it to the max. Take it to the max. Take it to the max. Please just rewind. Let me take it to the max.
Caribbean girl, me know for tick, me know for top. Yeah, man, I watch my body like say them, I watch a match. Yeah, anything him say them, girl, I do it like it's tax. But make my own money like the girls in movie trap.
Number 1.
Everything could have been like, but I'm just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all.
This is the Channel 1 Countdown.
Now that will be it for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily, powered by GhanaWeekend.com. Stay with Ghana Weekend for more updates on your favorite celebrities, events, and everything pop culture in Ghana and beyond. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok at Ghana Weekend, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ghana Weekend TV. My name is Ni Komite Kome.
So for more entertainment news, make sure that you log on to GhanaWeekend.com to get a lot more, and we are here to serve you. And also earlier was Ni Latte, which is guests talking about the AI space and all that we need on City Business Festival on Air series. But we've been talking a lot about the AgriFair after Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week, and we've been telling you what the vendors have been saying, what exhibitors have been saying, what the patrons have been saying as well. But today we have some vendors and exhibitors in studio to have a conversation with them, so you hear from the horse's own mouth. Should we organize it next year or again? You wouldn't relent, but you'll be there in your numbers. In studio is Paul Ayok, who is a sales manager for Voter Catch. We also have Messi Boko Anan, the regional sales manager for Voter Catch, and also Selom Agudu, the chief farmer at Banjangel Agro Industries. Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Pretty good.
Great. First of all, before we go on with the conversation proper, Paul, your impression for the first or the maiden edition for AgriFair 2025. What do you make of it?
I think you guys actually exceeded the expectations of most of the vendors.
Whoa.
And it's a great thing, actually.
Wow. Messi, you?
Well, speaking for Voter Catch, I would say that it gave us an avenue to meet quite a number of customers, and we were able to make a lot of sales. We actually did so well regarding sales, and it's something that we look forward to participating in, more in the future.
In the near future.
Yeah,
and
sure.
also Selom.
I want to echo what Paul said. The expectations were exceeded. We had two goals going in there, sales and publicity. And on both points, I think we far exceeded what we expected. So,
okay,
yes.
fine. So now let's go into details. When you say Voter Catch, what are you into? Messi?
So Voter Catch, basically we're into tilapia. We're into supplying fresh, healthy, quality tilapia to the market.
For how long have you been doing this?
28 years, since 97. Yeah.
28 good years?
Yes.
Paul, where can we find your farms when it comes to the rearing of tilapia?
We have farms at Pakadan, which is our main distribution point, which is our main farm. We have a farm at Pakadan. We have Asekuma, Asichwari, and just at the back of the Akosombo on the Volta Lake.
Wow.
And then we have distribution points at Tema, distribution points in Takrady, distribution points in Kumasi, in Kaswa, and at Malata. Those are our major distribution points. And as at last year and this year, we are partnering with existing cold stores to expand our niche. So right now in Wa, we have a partnered cold store in Wa. In Agona Swedru, we have a partnered cold store.
Wow.
So we are going everywhere.
Wow. I mean, I'll come to you and ask you what influenced your decision to be part of AgriFair 2025 and how it's been like doing this business for over 20 years, 2 decades. But Selom, when someone says that urban jungle, what are you into?
We are mainly producers, aggregators, and distributors of fresh food. We say fresh food because we do primarily fruits and vegetables, but we don't shy away from anything that's ancillary to fruits and vegetables. So anything that puts a meal on your plate, we will touch it.
And for how long has Urban Jungle been in this?
Officially since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how's it faring?
Pretty good. The whole idea is to let people understand that farming is a viable space to be in. Not just viable, but a space where we want more people to come in to generate buzz and generate a good place for people to work. And we think we are meeting that objective as we go.
Wow, interesting. So we are definitely having a conversation like this. It's just interesting that we have the tilapia sellers here, we have the vegetable sellers here. So it's just perfect that you can be able to do your tilapia stew easily. So you should be able to pick the contacts and all that so you can have a conversation with them. But Mercy, for how long has this business been running, which we know is 20 years, but what really influenced the decision to enter into tilapia farming? Because other ventures are there, but what exactly was tilapia farming?
Okay, so we're looking at, there are other options, but we're looking at how we could give the market something healthy, something quality. And that is why we looked at this very area. Yeah, there are a lot of even other farms, tilapia farm, we had a lot of smaller farms, but then we're looking at a farm that could give quality. We don't want anything that you eat and then have like issues later on. We were looking at bringing the best to the market, and that's why we had to go into this space. And that is what we are doing currently. We are FDA approved. FDA has been to our farm to assess all that we are doing. The ultimate is just to give the market the best. And so that was what influenced.
For 20 years, how has the market accepted Volta Catch?
With open arms. With open arms, yes. Because if you're buying from us, you are getting the best in terms of price, in terms of quality, and in terms of customer relationship. We don't only focus on selling to you, but then we go as far as also being interested in what you do. Yeah, so we really are interested in your personal space as well, besides just selling to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mercy has said it, but Paul, I know it's not that rosy. There may be challenges here and there with this business and all that. Share with us some of the problems or some of the challenges associated with the rearing of tilapia.
I think one of the greatest problems is weather. In the rainy season, you see tilapia is a peculiar fish. So in the rainy season, it's harder. And on the Volta Lake, if you have been on the Volta Lake when it rains, it's a huge storm. So it's a difficult thing to do. And also, sometimes it's not easy dealing with customers.
Wow.
It's not easy meeting customers' demands. So we try to find the best possible solution.
Not easy as saying they demand a lot, or they demand a particular kind of way that you should deliver it, or what exactly when it comes to meeting their demands?
So you can get a customer who wants, for instance, we grow tilapia in different sizes. Today they are demanding for one size, tomorrow they are demanding for a different size. You have to find a way to meet all their needs. So that's also a challenge. And I think out of late logistics, trying to navigate the logistics space and all that. But we keep learning and we keep growing and we keep improving every time, because the key and the goal is everyone that desires and wants to have tilapia should have good, fresh simply delicious tilapia from Volta Catch on their plate.
Is it a capital-intensive venture?
100%.
Wow.
Because we're growing tilapia from eggs to your plate.
Wow, interesting. Now, Salom, with the urban jungle, per what you've been doing there, let's go into details. What kind of vegetables are you into?
Most Ghanaian vegetables and some imported vegetables. So name it, your tomatoes, your peppers, hot and not hot, your greens, lettuce, cabbage, your herbs, your okra, your garden eggs. We do it all. So we don't restrict ourselves. As long as it's something that a Ghanaian plate wants and there's enough of a demand, we'll either grow it or we aggregate it from our other farmers.
So you give it to sell it in retail or wholesale?
Mostly wholesale, but we do all. So we serve 3 customer segments. We serve an industrial customer, we serve the open market, and then we serve an individual and a home customer.
Wow. Yeah. And how has it been so far?
It's been very good. We are trying to grow the individual space better than where we are today, but generally it's been a very good market.
Wow. So what you can see on the screen is actually coming from urban jungle and all that. But what really informed your decision to be part of the maiden edition of AgriFair?
We are coming from a place where we want to make agric viable. We want to make people want to go into agric as a good means of life. So we are always looking for an opportunity to make agric look nice. AgriFair, from all the information we got at the beginning, was going to be a good place to make noise about agric and let people we want more people to come into the space. So that's what drove us primarily.
How was it like for you on Friday? Let's take the days one by one.
Friday.
Your experience for Friday.
So we do a lot of these fairs. So we went into it thinking it was just one of those other fairs. So we came in with material that typically would have just brought in maybe one more day and then we're done. By 10 a.m., 11 a.m. on Friday, we had run out. And we had to
10
send a truck.
a.m.
Yeah.
On Friday?
Yep. We had to send a truck back to the warehouse to pull everything out of the cold room and bring it back to the fair.
Not even Saturday?
No, Friday.
So you sold everything on Friday. So what did you sell on Saturday?
So we had to start doing emergency procurement. All of our suppliers who had stuff had to start bringing stuff in. We had to order stuff from out of the farm in Tafiatome. It all arrived on
you don't
Friday
have your farm
evening.
in Accra?
No, our farms are in Kunkunru in the eastern region and Tafiatome in the Volta region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So things came from our farms, things came from all of our suppliers. We consolidated it and got it ready for Saturday.
For Saturday?
Yeah.
And how was it?
Sunday.
Oh, okay. So you had enough stock to last you for Saturday and Sunday?
Well, a lot came in on Friday evening, and we had stuff coming in all of Saturday. So as the stuff came in, we prepared it and brought it in for Saturday and Sunday.
And how was the sales like for Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday, after what we had seen on Friday, what we anticipated for Saturday was exactly where we were. Sunday exceeded our expectations. We thought, okay, Sunday, a lot of people, they might be off, but they go to church. Sunday by 8 a.m., there was a crowd at our stand. So that again blew our expectations.
Wow, urban jungle, that's amazing. And Volta Catch, the same question I'll ask. What informed your decision to be part of AgriFair 2025?
All right, so I would say that majority of people who sell tilapia, and mainly those who consume, do not even know the company that produces their tilapia. And so what we started doing, which has been some years now, is to participate in fairs, exhibitions, so that we can let people know that, see, this is Volta Catch. We are the ones producing the tilapia you are eating. Yes, so we're looking for an avenue to grow visibility out there, to let people know that yes, the tilapia you are eating is coming from Volta Catch. We also have other tilapia products like the tilapia jerkies, the tilapia in oil, just like you see the sardine. Which are products that we are working on.
Oh wow!
Will be on the market. I mean, on your shelves soon.
Oh, beautiful.
So yes, we had samples there. There was a lot of.
So it's not now you're going to fry and all that. You just take it a tin, you just open and you can
So
consume.
with the jerky, you can have your shito on the side, your gari or rice or whatever. You're good to go.
Can you back share?
No, that's all. We also have the tilapia crackers. So we actually use this avenue to you know, for the tasting space, so people will get to know that this is what we are. And we got a lot of feedback from that. And very soon, I'm sure when it hits the market, you're going to, sales is going to be crazy. Yes, so that's basically why we participated in this. And also to be able to reach out to the consumers and to get feedback from them. And regarding sales, I would say that we're overwhelmed.
No, with that, let me ask you Friday and Saturday, then I'll go to Paul on Sunday. How was it like Friday for you
so
and
Friday,
Saturday?
So just like he said, it was crazy for us on Friday. We got there very early by 6:30. We had set up. While we're setting up, we had people already bringing in money. That once they are done, we are going to take our fish. So that's how it was. It was, the whole day. So we had to call for extra support staff for Saturday. We're out of stock. Luckily, our depot was, it's closer. Our Malata, that's the closest depot to
to Western Island Park.
So we had supply coming in. By Saturday, our depot Malata was out of stock. We had to get stock from Tema depot. So yes, it was. Sales was good. We had a lot of patronage for
Friday and Saturday. And Paul, for you on Sunday, just showing a little bit of light to what she said. So we currently have a partnership with Aquatic Foods. Okay. And we are coming up with Kobe in oil, tilapia jerky, Kobe in oil. Oh. And these are all products that were displayed there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for people to taste, and it was marvelous. I think our marketing manager was here on air, and people knew about it. So we had close to 400 people visit the stands for tasting, which was amazing, and then they gave their feedback. On Sunday, I'll just end with this. On Sunday, we sold out, and we had display fish in the aquarium. And I had one lady who came and pressured me. I had to remove the fish and sell to her. Whoa. And that was it. So let me ask you both. Now that you've sold everything, do you still have some to satisfy the market or to give for the market in the coming days?
Oh, yes.
We
have a capacity. We do approximately 15,000 tons a year. Of fish. So we have a capacity to always meet the demands of the customers. So we don't have a problem with that. So that's why we always say, if you want to purchase tilapia, keep Volta Catch as your supplier, because we don't run out. And we always meet your expectations.
Beautiful. So looking at the excitement you putting out here and also on your faces and all that, you think that just once a year for AgriFair 2025 is enough?
I think if you guys are able to organize twice a year, that would be perfect. Because it's really going to help with the number of people who came by to buy things. And I saw everyone buying vegetables. So with the number of people who came by to buy things, I think it's going to help the public and also going to help the suppliers.
The tilapia chips came from your side, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I tasted it and I was told that it's tilapia that was used for that. And I was like, no way. This can't have it. But anyway, you are saying twice. Salom, for urban jungle, how many times do you think that AgriFair should be organized?
I want to echo what Paul said. Twice a year, if you can manage the logistics, would be ideal. Because, again, it's not just a selling opportunity. It's publicity for the agri space in Ghana. And whatever we do, the idea is, look, the future of this country is in agri. The earlier we start seeing that and start seeing this long value chain and start getting people interested in different parts of the value chain, the better it's going to be for this country. So we want fora like what the AgriFair gave everybody to be able to move, especially our youth, quickly in that direction. So we stop playing around with the whole, there are no jobs in the system mentality. AgriFair would drive that, and twice a year would really help this country.
You think that it can whip interests, the youth getting into the agriculture space?
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. But before you go, well, people would want to contact you. They want to know where you are and all that. So details of your contact, your location, how people can get in touch, and let's see how we can go about it.
I would want people to reach out directly to me. My personal number is 020-960-6729. There's a website, www.urbanjungleagro.com, and we have social media handles, Urban Jungle Agro, on all of the social media platforms.
One of the things we were preaching was people networking, getting to know each other, and also find it very convenient to get the produce in their various homes. maybe you were engaged in this kind of networking and all that, but when it comes to delivering to homes and all that, do you do that?
We do that through multiple channels. So we deliver mostly in Accra to individual homes. We're expanding our reach. So we just opened another pack house in Sunyani, which we are going to replicate the Accra model. We are going to try and reach out to homes. We reach out to the open market wherever we are. And then we also do industrial customers wherever they are in the country.
So for now, if someone is supposed to get in touch with you in Accra, it can easily be delivered?
Yes, absolutely.
So share the number again.
020-960-6729.
So make sure that if you want your vegetables and all that, you go to Urban Jungle, you can call, they can deliver to you in your various homes, and you can have that sumptuous meal by way of stew or soup. Also, voter catch, your contacts, your details and all that. Because, Charlie, people are really worrying me right now. They want their tilapia song.
All right. So the number is 020-848-5980. 020-848-5980. We have our depots across the country, Malata, Kaswa, Atimpoku, Tema, Takrade, Kumase. But then we do delivery, and that's to everywhere. And so if you reach out to me, and wherever you are, we'll just make sure that you get your tilapia. There are no limitations. Just call me 020-848-5980, and then we'll deliver to you.
So
and
should a person reach out to you, the person mentions Messi, will he or she get a discount?
Well, just call me. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Paul, anything you want to add?
Definitely.
From Paga to Axim, from Boku to wherever, anywhere in Ghana, we can get fresh tilapia to you.
Wow, wow. That's beautiful. So we'll be considering what they have said. You heard from Paul, Messi, both from Voter Catch, and also from Selom, who is coming from Urban Jungle, vegetables, and also for tilapia and all that. Make sure that you pick the contact, engage them, call them and all that, and enjoy yourself with tilapia and vegetables. Not to forget our sponsors that really did a lot for us. Farmer Line, that is a technology partner, Ghana Exim Bank, the horticulture partners, or the improvement company and all that. A lot of sponsors that came on board that we've been thanking you every now and then for what you did. You heard from the horse's own mouth, not expecting only for this event to happen once, but at least twice a year. We'll be considering that for management level. But my name is Philip Ni Lati. I did a show with Chris Carter earlier. Nana to 4 started. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching Channel 1 TV.
Two wrongs is a problem. So two wrongs is problem.
Yes.
So once there are two